Chapter 62. 2 days later, Xing Hui stepped into the 100 Desolation City. Time was running out. The Cloud Pond was in the north of the Cloud Desolation mountain range, near the Eastern Cloud Empire. It would take nearly 10 days to get there. If Xing Hui wanted to get enough Taoist connotation before the transaction with Sword Master Bai Heng, he had to act as soon as possible. With this urgent thought, Xing Hui came to the inn where Wu Yuyao was temporarily staying. When Xing Hui came to Wu Yuyao's room, he found that there was already another guest living here. This result made his face change color, and he immediately went to find the shopkeeper. Where did the girl in the third room go? It's the Demon Hunters Union. The Demon Hunters Union brought people here not long ago and took Miss Wu away. The shopkeeper did not dare to hide anything and hurriedly said. The Demon Hunters Union. Xing Hui's face turned cold. The Demon Hunters Union actually dared to go against him? A true disciple who was less than 40 years old and had reached the Qi cultivation aura realm could not intimidate their restless ambitions? Xing Hui turned around and ran straight to the Demon Hunters Union. The two guards at the gate of the Demon Hunters Union saw Xing Hui coming quickly and immediately recognized his identity. Their faces changed greatly, and they did not even care about the gate and quickly reported to the Demon Hunters Union. When Xing Hui stepped into the Demon Hunters Union, Tong Fei, the president of the Demon Hunters Union in the 100 Desolation City, hurriedly greeted him and said, "Prince Xing Hui, please calm down. Prince Xing Hui, please calm down. This matter has nothing to do with our Demon Hunters Union. The people sent by the Demon Hunters Union are people from the Demon Hunters Union. They brought young Master Longxuan's guards and forcibly took Miss Wu away. Young Master Longxuan's guards are not only at the peak of the blood transformation realm, but also have taken a lot of spirit beast blood essence. They are extremely powerful and have once defeated 6 blood transformation realm experts by themselves. We can't stop them at all. Demon Hunters Union, young Master Longquan. How long has she been taken away by them? Where are you going?" Young Master Longquan is a well-known figure in the Eastern Cloud Empire. Since he sent someone to take Miss Wu away, they must have gone to the Eastern Cloud Empire. Miss Wu was taken away 10 days ago, but because they took a carriage instead of a flying boat, it will take them another 10 days to reach the Eastern Cloud Empire. Tong Fei didn't dare to hide anything and told him everything in detail. 10 days. Xing Hui was a little angry. Because of young Master Longxuan's actions, his plan of using Wu Yuyao to lure Zhou Yi over, and then borrowing Zhou Yi's hand to collect the Dao vessel was completely disrupted. Dawn's trade only happened once every 1 or 2 years. If he couldn't accumulate enough Dao aura to trade for enough cultivation techniques from Sword Master Bai Heng, he would have wasted 1 or 2 years. His original goal was to cultivate to the void-shattering realm like Dong Qian in 10 years. Time was already tight. If he was delayed in the immortality realm for 1 or 2 years, Tong Fei felt Xing Hui's anger and immediately trembled with fear. We're just some small figures. We can't stop the people sent by young Master Longquan. We also sent people to search for young Master's whereabouts near the 100 Desolation City, but young Master came and went without a trace. We couldn't find young Master at all. Please forgive us, Prince Xing Hui." The other members of the Demon Hunters Union also kept quiet out of fear that Xing Hui's anger would implicate them and bring disaster to them. During this time, did someone called Zhou Buwei come to join Wu Yuyao? "Captain Zhou." Tong Fei was slightly startled and immediately said, Yes. Captain Zhou did come to join Miss Wu half a month ago. After Miss Wu was captured by young Master Longquan, he's currently looking everywhere for Prince Xing Hui's whereabouts. He wants young Master to go and save Miss Wu. He should be near the 100 Desolation City. I'll send people to find him." Hearing this, Xing Hui felt like he had seen the light at the end of the tunnel. "Go quickly. I'll wait for news at the Demon Hunters Union." Yes. Tong Fei hurriedly agreed and then shouted to the members of the Demon Hunters Union behind him, "Didn't you hear Prince Xing Hui's order? Invite Captain Zhou here immediately. Yes. The members of the Demon Hunters Union who received the order quickly took action. In less than 2 hours, Tong Fei had already brought several core members of the Demon Hunters Union and rushed to the courtyard where Tsing Hui was temporarily resting. He shouted from afar, "Prince Tsing Hui, Captain Zhou is here." "Prince Tsing Hui, I know our master offended Prince Tsing Hui, but I implore Prince Tsing Hui to be a good person to the end and save our miss." A middle-aged man behind Tong Fei stepped forward and knelt down to Tsing Hui at the first moment. Zhou Buwei and the others were Wu Zhenyuan's confidants. They were indebted to Wu Zhenyuan. Even though Wu Zhenyuan was already dead, they were still loyal and devoted to the children he left behind. "I've completed a deal with Wu Yuyao. Naturally, I'll save her life," Tsing Hui said and glanced at Tong Fei and the others. "All of you, leave." "Yes." Seeing that Tsing Hui's anger had subsided, Tong Fei and the others hurriedly responded and left the courtyard as if they had been pardoned. "Has Wu Yuyao ever told you the content of our deal?" No. Tsing Hui took out the gem that contained the Taoist connotation. "This is the content of our deal. You need to take me to the place where this gem is produced. I'll be responsible for protecting Wu Yuyao's safety." "This gem?" Zhou Buwei looked at the gem in Tsing Hui's hand for a moment and immediately said, "I know where these gems are. Because I don't know what these gems are used for, President Wu only took one because he thought Miss might like it. Look carefully at that place and there should be some more. If Prince Tsing Hui is willing to keep his promise to save Miss Wu, I'll take Prince Tsing Hui to find these gems." "Good." Tsing Hui stood up immediately. "Take me there, the faster the better. I'll take a flying boat directly to the Eastern Cloud Empire and intercept Wu Yuyao before she's handed over to that so-called young master Long Quan. Your speed will determine whether I can save your miss in time." The flying boat to and from the Eastern Cloud Empire only leaves once every half a month, the last one was 10 days ago, 5 days. "If we hurry, we'll be able to get to that place." Zhou Buwei also made a prompt decision. "I'll take Prince Tsing Hui there now. Tong Fei, prepare the best steed for me." Tsing Hui's order was passed down. Soon, 2 horned dragons were ready. This was a kind of wild beast that was similar to a horse but was actually a tamed beast. It was so strong that ordinary viscera refinement cultivators would find it difficult to suppress it. Once it started running, it could easily cover 1,000 miles in a day. Most importantly, this kind of wild beast had sharp reflexes and could run through complex woodlands and mountains. It was the best mount to enter the mountains. Time was of the essence. The 2 of them rode the horned dragons toward Zhou Guiyi's location without stopping for a moment. Although the Demon Hunters Union specialized in hunting monsters and refining blood essence, the group led by Wu Zhenyuan had limited abilities. They were often active in the outer and middle circles of the Yunhuang mountain range. At most, they would be 300 to 400 miles deep into the Yunhuang mountain range. If they went any deeper, the powerful spirit beasts inside would not be something they could easily deal with. If they were not careful, they would be surrounded and killed by the spirit beasts, risking their lives. The journey was not far. Even if it took some time to find the way, Tsing Hui still arrived at the place mentioned by Zhou Guiyi on the morning of the second day. As the 2 of them stepped into a cave where spirit beasts lived, the Chaos Temple's voice rang in Tsing Hui's mind before he could even see where the gemstones were. Discovered Dao Carrier. Dao Rhyme Value 2. Do you want to fuse it? Discovered Dao Carrier. Dao Rhyme Value 1. Do you want to fuse it? Discovered Dao Carrier. Dao Rhyme Value 3. Do you want to fuse it? Several notifications sounded at the same time. Tsing Hui thought about it carefully and was pleasantly surprised to find that there were 9 notifications. 9 Dao Carrier items. He immediately focused his mind, looked around, and quickly collected all 9 broken gemstones. As he collected the 9 broken gemstones and the Dao carrier item in his hand that contained Dao rhyme, he had obtained a total of 20 Dao rhyme values. As expected, the so-called Dao carrying object meant that it would last for 3 years, but once it did, it could last for 3 years. Some people might never encounter a Dao carrier item in their entire life. Occasionally, they would encounter 1 or 2 Dao rhyme values. However, some people with excellent luck would not only have fortuitous encounters, but they would also obtain dozens or even hundreds of Dao carrier items. There was even a legend that had been circulating in the Chaos Temple. Back then, the Divine Wilderness continent had a Dao carrier item that contained thousands of Dao rhyme values, causing all the invincible experts in the Divine Wilderness to fight each other. In the end, the Divine Wilderness was destroyed, and the powerful and glorious cultivation civilization fell into decline. Until today, it was rumored that it had not truly recovered. Of course, the reason it had not recovered was not that there were no more geniuses born since then, but monopoly. The monopoly of cultivation techniques. Those obviously talented people could not obtain the best cultivation techniques and resources, so it was naturally difficult for them to stand out. How many geniuses could they find in the vast continent just by relying on the many sects to search for geniuses? As a result, it was naturally difficult to restore the glory of the past. These gemstones seem to be able to form a whole. Xing Hui held the 10 gemstone fragments in his hand and looked at them for a moment before finally putting them away again. Being able to form a whole was meaningless to him. What he needed was to exchange these gemstone fragments for a suitable awakening method and a cultivation method for the Qi realm. That was all. Prince Xing Hui. Seeing that Xing Hui had obtained what he was satisfied with, Zhou Buwei nervously reminded him, as if afraid that he would abandon Wu Yuyao after obtaining what he wanted. Don't worry, I will keep my promise. We will return to the Lorraine Kingdom and buy a ticket to the Eastern Cloud Empire. Before young Master Longxuan's men bring Wu Yuyao to young Master Longquan, we will kill them. Xing Hui did not intend to go to the Eastern Sun Empire and enter the circle of the Eastern Sun Empire. After all, it was too close to the Hunyuan Heaven sect. But now, he had to go to the Eastern Sun Empire. Yes, thank you, Prince Xing Hui. Zhou Buwei could not help but express his gratitude. Xing Hui did not waste any more time and left the Yunhuang mountain range with Zhou Buwei. Considering that he could not always follow Wu Yuyao like a bodyguard, and that Zhou Buwei was loyal to her, he might as well take him to the Eastern Cloud Empire. At that time, with Zhou Buwei and the power of the Divine Armament Building, it would not be difficult for Wu Yuyao to live the rest of her life without worries. It could be considered as fulfilling his promise. Chapter 63. Lorraine Royal Capital. After nearly 2 months, Xing Hui returned to the city. The last time he came to the Lorraine Royal Capital, no one knew of his existence. But this time, the moment he stepped into the Lorraine Royal Capital, the first prince, the 10th prince, and the 12th prince brought people to welcome him. However, Xing Hui was pressed for time and did not want to have too much to do with the Lorraine royal family. He bought 2 tickets to the Eastern Sun Empire at the airport of the Lorraine royal capital for 10,000 gold each and found an inn to wait patiently. Most of the airships in the 24 countries of Lorraine were manufactured by the Hunyuan Heaven sect, but some airships were sold to private individuals. If the true disciples of the Hunyuan Heaven sect wanted to go out, they could use the airships in the Hunyuan Heaven sect for free. As for the ordinary disciples and ordinary people, they could at most enjoy a discount. They still had to pay for the tickets. While waiting for the airship to arrive, Xing Hui divided his attention and stepped into the Chaos Temple again. The 3-day time limit he agreed to with the leader of the Dawn faction, Ling Yu, was up. Pak Hui. At this moment, Ling Yu was talking about something with a rather young woman in white clothes. When she saw Qing Su arrive, she greeted him and told him to take a seat. Their conversation continued. After a while, Ling Yu stood up again and introduced with a smile, "This is Fei Xue from the Dawn faction." Fei Xue and a few friends from the Dawn faction also want to buy a fire-type cultivation art. Her trade partner is the six-winged divine phoenix. Six-winged divine phoenix. Phoenix bloodline. Yes, the phoenix bloodline. Although the phoenix bloodline is not one of the 18 divine beast bloodlines, it is a top existence among the divine beast bloodlines. It is second only to the vermilion bird among the fire-type divine beasts. It also has infinite potential. Not only can it cultivate the Nanming primordial fire, but it also has the nirvana fire. Every time it is reborn from the fire, its cultivation will improve greatly. Xing Hui nodded. The four origin flames of heaven and earth were the Grand Sun primordial fire, the Nanming primordial fire, the Red Lotus fire, and the Xianming primordial fire. However, other than these four origin flames, there were also flames similar to nirvana flames, purgatory flames, heavenly lightning flames, true samadhi flames, and so on. These flames also possessed all sorts of inconceivable mysteries. Some flames, if used well, were even more miraculous than the four origin flames. The six-winged godly phoenix mainly cultivates the true technique of Nanming primordial fire and the 9 revolutions of nirvana. The true technique of Nanming primordial fire cultivates the true technique of Nanming primordial fire, one of the 4 great origin flames. It is a top-notch technique. As for the 9 revolutions of nirvana, it is a top-notch technique. However, even the six-winged godly phoenix only has 3 revolutions. How much is the price of the 9 revolutions of nirvana? The price of each grade of the cultivation technique does not increase as much as the awakening technique. However, because the base price is too high, it is not cheap. The 9 revolutions of nirvana corresponds to the 3 realms of true qi, energy refining, and unity of spirit and energy. However, to complete the transaction, we estimate that we still need 60 Taoist rhymes. Currently, we have already found 6 partners. If Madame Pak Hui is willing to join us, we will have 7 partners. We plan to gather at least 10 people. The inheritors will have to pay 15 Taoist rhymes. On average, each person will have to pay 5 Taoist rhymes. Qing Su nodded when he heard that. I'll join. Fei Xue's eyes lit up. Great! We have been gathering 9 people for almost a year. The last person who joined us was 3 months ago. Now, we have 7 people. We should still need to find more for the next 2. I estimate that we will have an answer in 3 to 5 months. 3 to 5 months? Xing Hui frowned. This is a large-scale transaction with 60 Taoist rhymes. It's not too much to prepare for 1 to 2 years. Ling Yu, who was at the side, said while shaking her head, the main thing is that your requirements are too high. The Divine Grimoire. So what if you have the Divine Grimoire? Do you think it is so easy to cultivate the Nirvana flame? In my opinion, it is better to exchange for a holy technique to cultivate. You must know that the price of a Divine Grimoire cultivation technique for the Immortality Stage 6 is between 50 to 200 Taoist rhymes. However, the Divine Grimoire only costs 10 to 50 Taoist rhymes. The difference is huge. We have no choice. If we do not want to be bullied by the Holy Lands, we can only rely on such methods to constantly improve ourselves. Fei Xue said helplessly. Mastering a top-notch cultivation technique is equivalent to mastering a lot of benefits. It is no wonder that their chaos level is so high. That is not the case. Sword Master Bai Heng and the others want to pass on their understanding of these techniques to you through the inheritance method. Not only will it exhaust their spirit, but it will also cause them to lose their comprehension and their foundation to be unstable if they do it too many times. Therefore, it is not impossible that those Almighties are not willing to trade their techniques through the spiritual inheritance method. If it is just a verbal exchange, I believe that the number of Almighties who are willing to trade their techniques will increase by at least a few times. If it is just a verbal exchange, there will not be any inheritors who can differentiate between the two. Who knows if those Almighties are using an ordinary technique to trick us? This is not uncommon in the past. There were even almighties who used a fake technique to gain hundreds of Daoist rhymes and a few chaos levels for nothing. As an almighty, we must have a foundation of credibility. Without the guarantee of 3 parties, it is not safe. With the almighties in charge of the inheritance and the inheritors around, it is safer to pass on the verbal exchange. After all, if the inheritors make a mistake, the almighties will definitely point it out in order to maintain their credibility. Similarly, if the almighties make a mistake, the inheritors can also publicize it in the Chaos Temple after identifying the mistake and ruin the almighty's reputation. Ling Yu saw that Fei Xue was determined and did not say anything else. Credibility was very important in the Chaos Temple's transactions. Without credibility, even if they sold a supreme scripture for 10 Daoist rhymes, no one would be willing to trade with them. After leaving the Chaos Temple, the flying ship from the Eastern Cloud Empire finally arrived after a day's delay. There were already many passengers on the flying ship at this time. These flying ships were not direct between the Lorraine Kingdom and the Eastern Cloud Empire. They would still stop at other countries along the way. After all, a ticket that cost 10,000 gold coins was not something most people would even think about. Prince Tsinghui, please. As the flying ship docked, dozens of passengers from the Lorraine Kingdom who were planning to take the flying ship to the Eastern Cloud Empire stepped aside at the same time, allowing Tsinghui to board the flying ship first. This scene attracted the attention of the other passengers on the flying ship. Some of them even secretly inquired about Tsinghui's identity. Tsinghui did not say much and quickly sat down in his seat. After the flying ship docked for half an hour to replenish its supplies, a middle-aged man in the Awakening Realm came to Tsinghui with a smile on his face. Are you Prince Tsinghui? I'm Zhao Fengchen, the vice-captain of Fengyun Airlines' 4th ship. Over the past month, we've heard of Prince Tsinghui's name like thunder, and we've been fascinated by your deeds. It's really a blessing to be able to see your face today. Prince Tsinghui, we've already upgraded your cabin and will definitely move you to the first-class cabin. Tsinghui naturally would not refuse a better experience. He nodded and followed Zhao Fengchen to the first-class cabin on the 4th floor. Fengyun Airline was one of the largest flying ship operators in the 24 countries under the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Together with Haotian Airline and Unfailing Airline, they dominated all the routes in the entire Hunyuan Heaven sect's territory. They were an out-and-out giant force. It should be known that a flying ship usually had 300 to 400 seats. Ordinary seats cost 10,000 gold, while first-class cabins cost 30,000 gold. They often only needed to make one trip to earn 3 to 4 million gold. They could make 2 trips a month, which was equivalent to 4 trips. Their monthly income was more than 10 million gold. Even the Lorraine royal family's tax revenue could not compare. Even the Beast Hunters Union had been attacked by Hunyuan Heaven sect's true disciples, let alone a profiteering industry like Fengyun Airline. The background of such a force was at least one of the Hunyuan Heaven sect's true disciples ranked in the top 100. It might even be the property of an elder. More than half of the first-class cabins were at the blood-changing realm. Even if they were not at the blood-changing realm, they would definitely be protected by someone of a similar level. In the uppermost area, there were more than a dozen Awakening Realm experts. They were either resting with their eyes closed or chatting in groups of 3 or 5. Prince Tsinghui, please. If you have any instructions, just press the button next to your seat. Someone will come and entertain you. Zhao Fengchen gestured for Tsinghui to take his seat. Unlike the seats in the ordinary cabins, the first-class cabins were quite spacious. They were similar to the sofas on Earth. Not to mention sitting, one could even lie down. Not far from his seat, a level 1 Immortality Realm expert was chatting with a friend. When he heard Zhao Fengchen mention Tsinghui's name, he could not help but be stunned. After Zhao Fengchen left, he quickly greeted him with a smile. So it's Prince Tsinghui. No wonder you have such an extraordinary appearance. I'm Su Jiu, the manager of the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce. This is my friend, 100 Illusions. Nice to meet you. The first-class cabins of the flying ship had the function of promoting social interaction. However, Xing Hui did not want to get too involved with these people. In the end, he only nodded and did not reply. When Su Jiu and 100 Illusions saw his arrogant appearance, they could not help but be slightly stunned. However, Su Jiu considered her purpose of coming over and patiently said, "In the Lorraine Kingdom, rumor has it that the 10,000 Swords Mountain offended Prince Xing Hui and was destroyed by Prince Xing Hui. Of course, we absolutely support Prince Xing Hui's actions. The 10,000 Swords Mountain did not know what was good for them and dared to be rude to Prince Xing Hui. Naturally, they have to pay the price for their choice. However, Prince Xing Hui should not have sold the many treasures he obtained after destroying the 10,000 Swords Mountain, right? I wonder if Prince Xing Hui can sell these things to the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce. We are willing to buy them at a high price." Chapter 64. Destroy the 10,000 Swords Mountain. On the side, Zhou Buwei and the awakened experts nearby all looked at Qing Su at the same time. They could not help but feel shocked. The 10,000 Swords Mountain. The 10,000 Swords Mountain in the Cloud Wilderness mountain range of the Lorraine Kingdom? Of course, it's that ancient sect that has been around for more than 400 years. I heard about it the last time I came to the Lorraine Kingdom, but I didn't ask around because I was pressed for time. I didn't expect it to be true. And it was Prince Xing Hui who destroyed it. If I remember correctly, the ancestor of the 10,000 Swords Mountain has already cultivated to the second level of the Immortality Realm, the True Energy Realm, and wields a level 2 divine weapon. Even if a dozen or so Awakening Realm experts swarmed him, they would still be no match for him. Can this young master Qing Su destroy such a powerful force? Prince Xing Hui's strength might not be enough to be feared, but he has a stage 3 divine weapon and a true disciple of the Hunyuan Heavenly Sect who is at the Energy Condensation Realm as his backer. He might be able to destroy the 10,000 Swords Mountain. A stage 3 divine weapon and a true disciple who is at the Energy Condensation Realm. No wonder, many Awakening Realm experts discussed animatedly. They had been chatting in groups of 3 to 5, but when they looked at Xing Hui again, their gazes were clearly different. Fear and reverence. At this moment, they also understood why the vice-captain of Wind Cloud Airlines' 4th ship, Zhao Fengchen, had personally gone down to invite Xing Hui to the first-class cabin. Not to mention the true disciple behind him who was at the Energy Condensation Realm, just his shocking battle record of destroying the 10,000 Swords Mountain was enough to deserve such treatment. Xing Hui did not take the crowd's discussion to heart. Instead, he looked at the 2 managers of the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce. He did have many valuable items from the 10,000 Swords Mountain, including dozens of divine weapons, but what is the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce willing to exchange for them? Xing Hui's words excited Su Jiu and 100 Illusions. Since he was willing to answer, it meant that Xing Hui had the intention to sell them. Then, things would be easier. May I know what items Prince Xing Hui is willing to sell? According to the items that Prince Xing Hui is selling, we are willing to exchange them with the blood essence of spirit beasts, supreme true techniques, graded pills, and even spirit-grade sword techniques and magic incantations. Spirit beast blood essence and supreme true technique? When Xing Hui heard this, he shook his head. I don't think there's a need to make a deal. No. Prince Xing Hui, don't be anxious. Why don't you tell me what you need, Prince Xing Hui? If it's possible, the Flowing Wind Chamber of Commerce will do our best. Xing Hui glanced at Su Jiu. His cultivation level was not considered weak now, but his only shortcoming was the lack of attacking methods. The Dongyang Sword Codex was considered the best before the immortal level, but after the immortal level, the level of abstruseness was greatly reduced, especially when it came to the second level of immortal level, which involved the operation of genuine qi, which was not something the Dongyang Sword Codex could have. The Nirvana Flame cultivation method came with its own attacking methods, but there were still 3 to 5 months before the start of the transaction. During this time, when he fought with others, he couldn't rely on pure attack, defense, and speed to crush his opponent. As such, a high-quality sword technique became extremely important. The 10 Great Sage clans have very strict control over the awakening methods and cultivation methods of the Sacred Codex level. However, there are occasionally fist techniques, spear techniques, and sword techniques of the Sacred Codex level. What I want is a Sacred Codex level sword technique. A Sacred Codex level sword technique. Su Jiu looked at Xing Hui and gritted her teeth. If Prince Xing Hui can take out the goods we want, the Flowing Wind Chamber of Commerce does have Sacred Codex level sword techniques. 4 months ago, we coincidentally collected an incomplete copy of the Supreme Sword Technique, the 13 Heaven Burning Swords, which was passed down from Tian Huang. There are a total of 3 swords. 13 Heaven Burning Swords. The Supreme Sword Technique of the Sacred Codex level. That's right. A hint of pride appeared on Su Jiu's face. The president of the Flowing Wind Chamber of Commerce obtained this book by chance. While he was comprehending the sword technique, he made use of every second to copy 10 copies. These 10 copies are the essence of the first 3 swords of the 13 Heaven Burning Swords. After that, the president copied another 100 copies based on his memory. However, since he no longer had the comprehension he had when he first obtained the inheritance, the president can't guarantee that the person who buys these copies can cultivate the first 3 swords of the 13 Heaven Burning Swords. Price. The first 10 copies are priced at 3rd Stage Divine Weapons, 3rd Stage Holy Beast Blood Essence, or 3rd Stage Elixirs. The last 100 copies are cheaper. They only cost 2nd Stage Divine Weapons, 2nd Stage Holy Beast Blood Essence, and 2nd Stage Elixirs. 3rd Stage Divine Weapons. Obviously, the people of the Flowing Wind Chamber of Commerce knew about the 3rd Stage Divine Weapons in his possession and wanted them. Sword techniques are different from cultivation methods and awakening methods. The first 3 swords of a set of sword techniques are not worth this price. Xing Hui shook his head and said, Young Master Qing Su, that's the 13 Heaven Incinerating Swords of the Saint Rank Supreme Sword Technique. Moreover, although the 13 Heaven Incinerating Swords is incomplete, if young Master Qing Su can head to the Tianhuang mainland in the future, you might be able to gather the complete 13 Heaven Incinerating Swords. Moreover, a complete Supreme Sword Technique is something that no one would be willing to exchange for even if it was a 4th, 5th, or 6th divine weapon, let alone a mere 3rd-grade divine weapon. Sword techniques are different from awakening methods and cultivation methods. Cultivation methods require step-by-step progress. If you want to cultivate, you have to start from the beginning. Once you change your cultivation method, you have to change the entire book. Therefore, the price of cultivation methods of the 1st and 2nd stage of the longevity realm is often the same as the price of the 5th and 6th stage of the longevity realm. However, sword techniques, fist techniques, and other techniques are not the same. The lower the level, the lower the price. Take the 13 Heaven Burning Swords of the Supreme Holy Sword Technique as an example. Even if you cultivate the 3rd sword, you might not be able to compare to the 5th or even 4th sword of the Supreme Spiritual Sword Technique in terms of power. That's true, but high-level sword techniques have always been hard to come by. It's reasonable that the price is high. Xing Hui shook his head. I'm willing to use a 2nd stage divine weapon to buy one of the 10 sword techniques. This price is too low. Su Jiu bitterly smiled. Go and ask your president. Su Jiu helplessly nodded. After that, a few martial artists who thought they were of some status stepped forward to greet Xing Hui and get to know him. However, Xing Hui appeared rather cold. Everyone could tell that he did not want to talk about it. To avoid arousing his disgust, they could only turn around and leave. Half a day quickly passed. During this time, the airship arrived at the Weihai Kingdom and stopped there. Not long after, more than 30 people boarded the airship one after another. When a graceful and noble woman in a palace dress boarded the airship surrounded by several Awakening Realm powerhouses, the airship was once again in an uproar. It's Princess Lan Yu. I didn't expect Princess Lan Yu to take this flying ship. Princess Lanyu was already a true disciple 4 years ago. She could have applied for a special flying ship to pick her up. I didn't expect her to take an ordinary flying ship. She's a true disciple of the Hunyuan Heaven sect. A true disciple of the Hunyuan Heaven sect is comparable to the king of a country. Amidst the discussions, those who thought they were of some status stepped forward, wanting to get to know Princess Lanyu. Princess Lanyu chatted and laughed. With her powerful aura and noble status, she quickly became the center of attention on the flying ship. Even Zhao Fengchen accompanied her. After chatting for a while, someone seemed to mention Xing Hui's name. Princess Lanyu's gaze immediately landed on him. You're Cho Xing Hui, senior sister Nalan's relative. I heard senior sister Nalan mention you half a year ago. Xing Hui raised his head slightly and looked at Princess Lanyu. You know Aunt Nalan? Of course. Princess Lanyu smiled. Senior sister Nalan is one of my few good friends in the Hunyuan Heaven sect. I am indebted to her for taking care of me when I joined the Hunyuan Heaven sect. She then looked at Xing Hui. Rumor has it that you single-handedly destroyed a branch of the Beast Hunters Union? Is that true? Ha, Princess Lanyu, Prince Xing Hui's battle record isn't as simple as destroying a branch of the Beast Hunters Union. A month ago, he single-handedly destroyed the Lorraine Kingdom's famous 10,000 Swords Mountain. The 10,000 Swords Mountain has hundreds of years of history, dozens of awakening stage experts, and even true Qi stage experts. But they were still defeated by Prince Xing Hui single-handedly. Destroyed the 10,000 Swords Mountain. Princess Lanyu was a little surprised. I've heard of the 10,000 Swords Mountain in the Weihai Kingdom. They're quite powerful and almost replaced the Lorraine royal family as the ruler of Lorraine. Xing Hui, you actually destroyed such a large sect. I just relied on the Divine Sword. Divine Sword? Prince Xing Hui has a rank 3 divine weapon. Zhao Fengchen said enviously. Rank 3 divine weapon. Princess Lanyu was a little surprised. Senior sister Nalan thinks so highly of you. Obviously, she thought that the rank 3 divine weapon in Xing Hui's hand was given to him by Nalan Fei. Since you have such battle strength, why don't you join the Hunyuan Heaven sect? I see that you've already awakened, but there are no traces of cultivation techniques. If you join the Hunyuan Heaven sect, not only will you become senior sister Nalan's right-hand man, but you'll also be able to obtain supreme techniques if you make contributions. It's much easier than finding your own techniques. If I have the chance, I'll go to the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Princess Lanyu shook her head. You've just stepped into the awakening stage. It's the most crucial moment of your cultivation. How can you waste time? I think when we reach the capital of the Eastern Cloud Empire, I'll take you directly to the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Senior sister Nalan values you and your sister very much. She'll be very happy to see you. Xing Hui shook his head, unwilling to explain further. When Princess Lanyu saw this scene, she frowned and muttered in her heart, what a worrisome little guy. He stepped into the awakening stage at such a young age, and it's time for his confidence to soar. How can he know the difference between cultivating alone and relying on a sect? It seems that in order to prevent him from missing the best opportunity to cultivate, I'll have to personally take him to the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Princess Lanyu then began to tell Xing Hui about the power of the Hunyuan Heaven sect and the various benefits of joining. Xing Hui wanted to know more about the Hunyuan Heaven sect, so he listened patiently. A day passed unknowingly. When night was about to fall, a towering giant city appeared on the horizon. They had arrived at the Eastern Cloud Empire. Chapter 65. The Eastern Cloud Empire was one of the 3 most prosperous empires under the Hunyuan Heaven sect's jurisdiction. The entire empire spanned tens of thousands of miles, and countless cities dotted every corner of the empire's territory. The cultivation culture was unprecedentedly prosperous. As the imperial capital of such a top empire, it was even more prosperous and dazzling. The Eastern Cloud Empire's capital was 300 feet tall, and there were many towers. Even Awakening Realm and True Energy Realm experts would find it difficult to climb. A large number of fortifications had been set up around the city, and in some places, dense cannons could be seen, intimidating everyone. The population of the Eastern Cloud Empire's capital had reached an astonishing 30 million people. It was the most populous city under the Hunyuan Heaven Sect's jurisdiction. It had a large population, a flourishing cultivation culture, and was also close to the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. Such a city naturally had as many experts as there were clouds. Qing Su landed at the port on his flying boat. He glanced over from above and saw no less than 1,000 viscera refinement experts. There were several hundred blood transformation experts. As for eternal life experts who had awakened their bloodlines, they were not uncommon either. Perhaps this had something to do with the airport's special location, but from this, one could see the prosperity of the entire Eastern Cloud Empire. Junior brother Tsing Hui, is this your first time in the Eastern Cloud Empire? Princess Lan Yu came to Tsing Hui's side. She had a good relationship with Nailan Fei. When she saw that Tsing Hui was about to go astray, she naturally volunteered to correct him. This Eastern Cloud Empire's capital, Tsing Hui looked around and saw that the building stretched as far as the eye could see. Even with his experience on Earth, he was still secretly shocked. Where are you going? I'll take you there. I've been to the Eastern Cloud Empire's capital more than 10 times, so I'm very familiar with it. Princess Lan Yu smiled. Tsing Hui glanced at Su Jiu, who was beside him. Su Jiu tactfully said, Prince Tsing Hui, we have already asked our president. The president sincerely requests that Prince Tsing Hui move to our Chamber of Commerce's headquarters for a chat. Princess Lan Yu, who was at the side, already knew about the deal between Tsing Hui and Su Jiu. She said, the 13 sky-burning swords is a swordsmanship that can be used until one reaches the Supreme Sage stage. However, you only have 3 swords in your hands. Moreover, they are the 3 swords with the lowest value, from the Immortality Stage 1 to the Immortality Stage 3. My junior brother Tsing Hui's offer of a Stage 2 divine weapon is already considered a high price. After saying that, she turned to Tsing Hui. The Eastern Sun Imperial Capital is actually equivalent to the Hunyuan Heaven Sect's window to the outside world. Not only do many forces under the Hunyuan Heaven Sect set up shops here, but even some elders of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect who are proficient in artifact refinement and alchemy will sell the pills and artifacts they refined. Not to mention the swordsmanship manuals they occasionally obtain. As long as we patiently search, we might be able to find a more suitable swordsmanship. When Su Jiu heard this, she was afraid that this big deal would be ruined. She hurriedly said, Princess Lan Yu, our president invited Prince Tsing Hui to the headquarters with the intention of completing the deal. It's just that it's more convenient to discuss it at the headquarters. It's good that you're willing to complete the deal. Junior brother Tsing Hui, shall we go together? Tsing Hui considered that Wu Yuyao had definitely not entered the Eastern Cloud Empire's capital yet, so there was still time. In addition, he could not resist Princess Lan Yu's enthusiasm. Besides, he really needed the first 3 swords of the 13 sky-burning swords, so he immediately nodded. The group boarded a carriage that the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce was in charge of receiving distinguished guests. Soon, they headed toward the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce's headquarters. Along the way, Tsing Hui looked around through the window. He saw that the Eastern Sun Imperial Capital was extremely rich in products. Many shops openly sold top-notch elixirs such as the marrow cleansing pill. In some places, there were even advanced divine weapons hanging in the windows to attract attention. The cultivators who went in and out of these shops were also vigorous. Along the way, he even saw 3 immortal level 2 true energy realm powerhouses walking on the streets. It had to be known that in the Lorraine Kingdom and other places, true energy realm experts of the immortality realm were often equivalent to the grand elders of large sections. Even in the Lorraine royal family, the number of true energy realm experts could be counted with 2 hands. However, in this place, they were almost as common as awakening realm experts. If the Eastern Cloud Empire's capital at the foot of the Hunyuan Heaven sect was already like this, one could imagine how powerful the real Hunyuan Heaven sect was. Under Su Jiu's lead, the group quickly arrived at a large courtyard. In terms of scale, this courtyard was similar to the Ying Garden. However, it was different from the Lorraine Kingdom. In the Eastern Cloud Empire, where every inch of land was worth its weight in gold, the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce could occupy such a large area. Prince Tsinghui, please. Our president is already waiting in the living room. Su Jiu enthusiastically led the way. Soon, the group arrived at the living room. When they entered the living room, the three figures waiting inside stood up at the same time. One of them smiled at Tsinghui and the others and cupped his hands. Ha, this must be Prince Tsinghui and Princess Lan Yu, right? I'm Feng Xiaoxiao. Nice to meet you. Since you've chosen to trade with the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce, we won't disappoint you. Please take a seat. Tsinghui nodded. At the same time, he scanned the man with an appraisal skill. Feng Xiaoxiao. Cultivation Realm, True Energy Realm. Attack level 26, Defense level 23, Speed level 24, Mental Strength level 21. An expert in the middle stage of the True Energy Realm. Although Feng Xiaoxiao was the president of the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce, he had to entertain VIPs daily. Clearly, he couldn't be the strongest person in the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce. There were probably late-stage or even peak True Energy Realm experts in the organization. As for qi cultivation, that was on another level. Prince Tsinghui, please take a look. Feng Xiaoxiao gestured with his hand. An old man beside him immediately handed a book to Tsinghui. It was the 13 Swords of the Burning Heaven. Huh? President Feng, you're handing the 13 Swords of the Burning Heaven to me just like that? Tsinghui took the book and flipped through it. He realized that it was a detailed version of the first 3 swords of the 13 Swords of the Burning Heaven. Of course, we trust Prince Tsinghui. If Prince Tsinghui can introduce us to Miss Nalan, what's wrong with giving these 3 swords to Prince Tsinghui? Princess Lan Yu faintly smiled. There were a total of 3 obstacles in the 6 stages of immortality. They were qi cultivation as one, and the divine manifestation. Qi cultivation as one's qi cultivation required one to solidify one's willpower and compress one's qi cultivation into qi cultivation. Countless true disciples were stuck at this stage. Therefore, although qi cultivation as one's qi cultivation was only 1 stage higher than the true energy realm, there was a huge difference in status between the two. This was also the reason why the Lorraine royal family did not pay much attention to Nalan Fei when she was in the true energy realm. However, once qi cultivation as one's qi cultivation became qi cultivation, they would feel uneasy even if they offended any of her relatives. Tsinghui had the support of Nalan Fei, who had entered the qi cultivation as one's qi cultivation before the age of 40. Hence, the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce's actions were completely reasonable. Tsinghui did not respond to Feng Xiaoxiao's words. He carefully flipped through the 3 swords of the burning heaven. He immediately felt that the 3 swords of the burning heaven were extremely compatible with his awakened Golden Crow bloodline. Burn the heavens, burn the heavens. In this world, the only thing that could truly burn the heavens was the great sun. Apart from the great sun, what other kind of flame could burn the heavens? This is a Tier 2 divine weapon. Tsinghui immediately took out the spoils of war he had obtained from the 10,000 Swords Peak's Grand Elder. Prince Tsinghui is straightforward. Although Feng Xiaoxiao did not manage to get in touch with Nalan Fei through Tsinghui, it was not a bad thing to be able to befriend such a young talent with unlimited potential. She immediately accepted the divine weapon with a smile and completed the transaction. I wonder if Prince Tsinghui is willing to sell the other divine weapons. The Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce is willing to purchase them at a high price. No need. Tsinghui still had to contact Xian Long, who had just established the Divine Weapon Pavilion in Eastern Cloud's imperial capital. These divine weapons from the 10,000 Swords Peak would be the first batch of goods to open up the Eastern Sun Empire's market. After all, no matter how prosperous the Eastern Sun Empire was, there were still very few awakened realm cultivators. Tier 1 divine weapons were still high-quality goods that countless people chased after. After completing the transaction with Feng Xiaoxiao, Tsing Hui left the Lu Feng Chamber of Commerce. Prince Tsing Hui, where are we going now? Zhou Buwei, who was acting like a follower, asked. In fact, he had taken the liberty to ask because he hoped that Tsing Hui would remember him and remember that he still had to save Miss Wu. Let's go directly to young Master Longquan's residence. Tsing Hui did not want to go through so much trouble. Young Master Longquan's servant had captured Wu Yuyao alive and would eventually hand her over to young Master Longquan. Once he captured him, Wu Yuyao would naturally be able to save her. Young Master Longquan. Princess Lan Yu was slightly taken aback when Tsing Hui mentioned this person. Could it be that junior brother Tsing Hui received a message from Miss Naylan and is representing Miss Naylan to congratulate young Master Longquan? That's strange. If it was in the past, Miss Naylan would naturally give young Master Longquan some face. But now, Miss Naylan has cultivated her qi into qi and her status is not inferior to his sister, Fairy Biu. Why would she send someone over? What congratulation! Young Master Longquan plans to take his 21st concubine in 3 days. As Princess Lan Yu spoke, she curled her lips in disdain. In fact, I'm also representing the Wei High Kingdom this time. There's no other way. Dozens of us true disciples, including senior sister Naylan, belong to the Sky Origin Peak Masters faction. Fairy Biu is the Sky Origin Peak Masters favorite. For her sake, even if young Master Longquan is ignorant and incompetent and uses his sister's name to exploit us, we can only endure it. Young Master Longquan. Fairy Biu. Sky Origin Peak Master. Can you tell me more? Tsing Hui had heard of young Master Longquan before. He was a famous playboy in the Eastern Cloud Empire. After learning that young Master Longquan was only in the Awakening Realm, Tsing Hui guessed that he must have some background. Otherwise, he would not be able to strut around in the Eastern Cloud Empire. But now, according to Princess Lan Yu, it already involved the Peak Master's level. A Peak Master's disciple of the Hunyuan Heaven sect had a status equal to a Hall Master. Even Elder Zhuri, who Erisher Yudo had clung onto, was inferior in status in front of young Master Longquan. True disciples of the 10 great sacred lands could not be over 100 years old. A Peak Master's disciple who cultivated to the Spirit and Qi Unite stage in less than 100 years and an elder who cultivated to the Spirit and Qi Unite stage in 200 or 300 years naturally had different potential. Young Master Longquan is Fairy Biu's younger brother and only direct descendant. Fairy Biu dotes on him a lot. It is said that the reason young Master Longquan was able to reach the Awakening Realm was because Fairy Biu poured countless resources into him. Fairy Biu is one of the first true disciples to join the Sky Origin Peak Master's side. She has been with the Sky Origin Peak Master for more than 50 years and is one of the Sky Origin Peak Master's most trusted left and right arms. Although her potential is weaker than senior sister Naylan because she has only awakened a spirit beast bloodline, she has already cultivated to the Qi refining realm with the help of the Sky Origin Peak Master. Princess Lan Yu's gaze fell on Tsing Hui as she spoke. She was a little puzzled. Why are you asking about this playboy? It's best not to have any relationship with such a person. Chapter 66. Peak Master Yuankong's left and right hand. Tsing Hui frowned. Senior sister Naylan is also a true disciple of Peak Master Yuankong's faction. That's right. Princess Lan Yu's expression turned a little more serious when she heard Qing Su's incessant inquiries. The internal strife in our Hunyuan Heaven sect is quite serious. Although killing is forbidden at the level of true disciples, where there are people, there will be conflict. Although it's not allowed openly, it's not uncommon for them to act in secret. After all, if true disciples want to obtain cultivation resources, they have to go out and carry out sect missions. They can't stay in the Hunyuan Heaven sect every day. Therefore, to ensure their own safety, some true disciples will band together under a powerful true disciple, peak master, or even vice sect master. If this true disciple becomes the peak master becomes the vice sect master, or vice sect master takes the position of sect master, these disciples will also soar. Xing Hui originally wanted to capture young Master Long Quan and save Wu Yuyao, but it seemed that he would have to change his approach. Junior brother Xing Hui, do you have a grudge with young Master Long Quan? Xing Hui shook his head. Before Princess Lan Yu could inwardly breathe a sigh of relief, Xing Hui continued, but the concubine young Master Long Quan is marrying in 3 days is a friend of mine. I must save her. That concubine? Princess Lan Yu was taken aback. Her brows immediately furrowed. What's the relationship between the two of you? If it's just an ordinary relationship, I think it's better to take a step back. Young Master Long Quan is Fairy Baiyu's only relative, and Fairy Baiyu values him even more than herself. Fairy Baiyu is also an old friend of the Sky Origin Peak Master and has been loyal to him for more than 50 years. If there is a conflict, even Senior Sister Nalan will not be able to step in. After all, Senior Sister Nalan and Fairy Baiyu both belong to the Sky Origin Peak Master's faction. If the matter goes too far, won't it embarrass the Sky Origin Peak Master? I have to save her, Xing Hui said. Although his tone was calm, there was an unquestionable determination. This scene instantly moved Zhou Buwei, who had been extremely nervous. When he heard that young Master Long Xuan's background was related to a peak master of the Hunyuan Heaven sect, his heart turned cold. Fortunately, Xing Hui had not given up yet. His miss could still be saved. You're such a troublemaker. I heard that the elder behind the Monster Hunters Association talked to Senior Sister Nalan. If Senior Sister Nalan hadn't broken through to Immortal Level Rank 3 and made the elder give in, you would have been captured by the experts sent by the Monster Hunters Association. It's not easy for you to suppress the incident in the Monster Hunters Association, but you're now involved with Sir Longquan. The consequence of offending Sir Longquan is much more terrifying than offending the Monster Hunters Association. Leave this matter to me, I just hope it won't affect Aunt Nalan. It's not that bad. Although Fairy Baiyu is an old acquaintance of Peak Master Void Origin, Senior Sister Nalan has awakened the bloodline of a sacred beast and reached the Aura realm before the age of 40. She has a bright future ahead of her and is likely to become a Peak Master in the future. Peak Master Void Origin values her quite a bit, but that's good. Xing Hui said, I'll go to young Master Longxuan's residence now. I'll go with you. Princess Lan Yu could see that Xing Hui was not good with words and hurriedly said, when the time comes, I'll negotiate with young Master Longquan. I only hope that young Master Longquan will give up on taking a concubine for Miss Nalan's sake. Xing Hui nodded. He owed Nalan Fei more than a little favor. He could not get rid of this entanglement even if he wanted to. Young Master Longquan had Fairy Baiyu's back, and with her status, it was naturally easy for her to occupy a courtyard in the Eastern Sun Imperial capital. The entire courtyard looked like a magnificent palace. With Princess Lan Yu's identity as a true disciple of the Hunyuan Heaven sect, it was not difficult to enter young Master Longxuan's residence. However, as Xing Hui walked forward, his expression suddenly became a little strange. There were a lot of guards in young Master Long Quan's mansion, and there were also a lot of maids. Different from the guards, these maids were all women without exception, and they could be said to have good looks. The only thing that was a little strange was that the atmosphere in the mansion was a little stifling, otherwise, this kind of place could really be called a man's paradise. This young Master Longquan is addicted to sex and has done many things like snatching women. It's just that his background is too strong and he has some foresight, so he doesn't dare to offend those he can't afford to offend. The imperial family of the Eastern Cloud Empire also turns a blind eye to this. But because he has done so many evil things, many forces that have been ruined by him want to settle the score with him. He naturally values his life very much. The guards in his residence are almost as strong as a large sect. Xing Hui glanced around and nodded slightly. Along the way, he had already sensed the aura of 6 awakening experts. In the courtyard in front of him, there was an Immortal Level 2 True Qi expert. Immortal Level 2. That was equivalent to a great elder of the 10,000 Swords Mountain. With such an expert protecting young Master Long Quan, it was no wonder he could run rampant in the Eastern Cloud Empire. Haha, so it's senior sister Lan Yu. I haven't seen you for a year and you've become more beautiful. I really feel sorry for you. In a living room, a person immediately came out to greet them. He looked at Princess Lan Yu with a smile on his face. His eyes were full of naked desire. Princess Lan Yu frowned, but she also knew young Master Long Xuan's character. She just coldly replied, "Junior brother Long Quan, you flatter me. How can I compare to junior brother Long Quan who has a group of wives and concubines? My so-called wives and concubines are just a group of ordinary women. How can they be compared to senior sister Lan Yu? Ha, it's rare that we haven't seen senior sister Lan Yu for a year. Come, let's take a seat." Young Master Long Quan said as he went forward to grab Princess Lan Yu's hand. Princess Lan Yu was already prepared for this. She moved to the side, avoiding his obviously groping hands. Junior brother Long Quan is too polite. Allow me to introduce you to this junior brother Qing Su beside me. Junior brother Qing Su is senior sister Nalan's nephew. He is also an Awakening Realm powerhouse and is very famous. He once single-handedly destroyed the Demon Hunters Union and uprooted the 10,000 Swords Mountain that had been passed down for hundreds of years. Senior sister Nalan. Senior sister Nalan Fei. Young Master Long Xuan's eyes lit up. Yes. I've seen senior sister Nalan before. She's really beautiful. Her waist is as slender as a willow and her skin is as white as water, cough cough. Before young Master Long Quan finished speaking, an old man beside him coughed and interrupted him. Young Master, please invite the 2 guests into the living room. Oh, right. Young Master Long Quan acted as if he couldn't see Princess Lan Yu's ugly expression. He gestured with his hand and said, "Please come in." Xing Hui, who was behind Princess Lan Yu, looked at the old man. He had already used his appraisal technique today, but he could still determine that the old man's cultivation was not much inferior to Feng Xiaoxiao's. An intermediate True Qi realm expert protecting him, Hunyuan Heaven Sex Fairy Baiyu really doted on him. Princess Lan Yu suppressed the disgust she felt for young Master Long Quan and entered the living room. She did not want to continue the pleasantries and directly said, "We're here to talk about young Miss Wu Yuyao, who was captured by young Master Long Quan. I hope young Master Long Quan can make an exception and let her go." Wu Yuyao. Young Master Long Xuan's eyes turned. That little girl. She's of the highest quality. She clearly looks pure, but she's naturally charming. Since I've taken a liking to such a woman, I naturally won't let her go. Junior brother Long Quan, young Miss Wu Yuyao is my junior brother Tsing Hui's good friend, and junior brother Tsing Hui is senior sister Nalan's relative. Isn't it a little unreasonable for you to kidnap junior brother Tsing Hui's good friend? Ha, young Master Long Quan suddenly laughed. I'm just joking. No matter how much I like that little girl, I still have to give senior sister Nalan face. However, I don't know who this Tsing Hui is. What if someone pretends to be senior sister Nalan's relative and steals the woman I've taken a liking to? Where will I put my face? You, Princess Lan Yu's face revealed a trace of anger. Then what do you want? It's simple. If you want to prove whether he's senior sister Nalan's relative, why don't you ask her to come over? As long as senior sister Nalan appears, I will immediately release her. Ask senior sister Nalan to come over. Princess Lan Yu's expression turned cold. What kind of status did young Master Long Quan have? He was just a cultivator who was forcefully pushed to the awakening stage with the help of external forces. He didn't even have the qualifications to become a true disciple of the Hunyuan Heaven sect. How could he be worthy of senior sister Nalan, who was on equal footing with Fairy Baiyu, personally visit him? Junior brother Longquan, isn't this a little too much? If this matter really gets out, it won't be a good thing for you. Why do you have to cause trouble for your sister? What kind of trouble is this? I just want to verify whether he is a relative of senior sister Nalan or not. You have to know that I have already announced to the world that I am going to take in a new concubine, and the invitation has already been sent out. At this time, who wants me, young Master Long Quan, to hand over the concubine in my hands? How can I have a foothold in the Eastern Cloud Empire from now on? You, Xing Hui glanced at Princess Lan Yu. How far is this place from the Hunyuan Heaven sect? Princess Lan Yu glanced at Xing Hui. Could it be that he really wants senior sister Nalan to come forward? She thought in her heart, but still answered Xing Hui truthfully. It's not far. Once the news is spread, the people of the Hunyuan Heaven sect will arrive in 2 or 3 days. If they use a flying boat, it'll only take 1 day. 1 day, Xing Hui nodded. He had already made a decision in his heart. At this moment, a servant suddenly appeared outside the living room. When young Master Longquan saw the servant, he laughed loudly and stood up. Is it Wu Yuyao, that little girl has arrived? The servant, who didn't dare to disturb young Master Longquan's reception, hurriedly replied, Yes, young master. Miss Wu has already arrived outside the imperial capital. In an hour, she will be sent to your residence. Chapter 67. She's already here. Princess Lan Yu felt the situation was a little grim. Young Master Longquan completely ignored Princess Lan Yu and Xing Hui. His eyes glowed like a hungry ghost. Good, good, good. I can't wait to have a taste of that little girl. Junior brother Longquan. I've already said that Miss Wu is junior brother Xing Hui's friend. Please spare Miss Wu. Princess Lan Yu said unhappily. Ha, what does his friend have to do with me? If you can get senior sister Nalan to intercede, I will let her go without hesitation. But you can't get senior sister Nalan to come forward? Why should I give face to someone I don't know? You were the one who kidnapped Miss Wu. Have you asked for Miss Wu's opinion? Moreover, even if we send a message to senior sister Nalan, she will need time to rush over from the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Therefore, during this time, please ensure her safety. When did I, young Master Longquan, have the right to tell me what to do? Young Master Longquan's expression hardened as he looked at Princess Lan Yu. A moment later, he seemed to think of something and his eyes flashed with desire. It's not impossible for me to wait for senior sister Nalan, but I can't determine whether what you said is true or false. What if you use the excuse of inviting senior sister Nalan to delay it for 10 days and cause me to miss the wedding in 3 days? Won't I become a joke? How about this? Since this person called Qing Su says he's a relative of senior sister Nalan, let him go invite senior sister Nalan. As for you, stay in my estate. That way, even if that kid really does ruin my plans, I'll be able to find someone to reason with, right? I'll stay in your residence. Princess Lan Yu's expression changed. She was only in the early stage of the awakening realm, while young Master Longquan's mansion was filled with experts. The old man in front of her, Yang Zhong, was an expert in the second stage of the true Qi realm. Once young Master Longquan's lust was aroused and he wanted to do something rude, how could she resist? Even if Fairy Baiyu helped him settle his affairs, she wouldn't even have a place to reason with him. I can't stay. Then there's no other way. Hurry up, hurry up. I want to see that little girl in the bedroom in half an hour. Young Master Longquan's last words were naturally directed at that guard. You, alright, Princess Bluefeather, you've done your best. Let me do the rest. At this moment, Xing Hui spoke. You're here. Xing Hui, if that person isn't that important, why don't you? Princess Lan Yu clearly wanted to persuade Xing Hui to give up on Wu Yuyao. But, Xing Hui shook his head. Clang! Without any warning, the sword light pierced through the air. He drew his sword. Xing Hui attacked without any warning. When the sword struck out, the sharp sword chi of the Tier 3 superior divine weapon, the green firmament sword, suddenly surged. With a flash of cold light, it pierced towards young Master Long Quan with a piercing sharpness. The sudden sword instantly stunned the furious Princess Bluefeather and the smug young Master Long Quan. They were unable to react. However, although the two of them were in the awakening realm, it did not mean that Yang Zhong, who was in the true energy realm, was the same. Although Yang Zhong did not take Xing Hui too seriously because he was only in the awakening realm, his vigilance as a true energy realm expert allowed him to maintain sufficient vigilance. The moment Xing Hui unsheathed his sword, he quickly came to his senses and shouted, "Young master, be careful." The next moment, the true energy in his body erupted. Like an antelope hanging its horn, he struck out horizontally. With a mighty wave of qi, it slammed towards Xing Hui like a tsunami and landed heavily on the green firmament sword's blade. However, when his true energy landed on the green firmament sword, he suddenly sensed something. His expression changed. Tier 3 divine weapon. Not good. Buzz buzz. His true energy collapsed. Sword qi burst forth. As the green firmament sword in Xing Hui's hand trembled slightly, Yang Zhong's true energy that landed on the sword quickly dissipated. Then, the green firmament sword's sword qi erupted and launched a surprise attack. Even though Yang Zhong quickly retreated, his palm was still pierced by the sword's blade, causing blood to spurt out. Impudent, swish! Xing Hui took a step forward and brazenly chased after him. From the beginning, his real target was not young Master Long Quan. Young Master Long Quan was just an awakening realm expert who was piled up with medicine. All his attributes probably did not exceed 12. He was not worth mentioning at all. There was only one enemy who was a real threat to him, and that was the middle stage true energy realm old man, Yang Zhong. His sword seemed to be stabbing towards young Master Long Quan, but his real goal was to lure Yang Zhong to attack and even kill this middle stage true energy realm expert with a single sword strike. Piercing Yang Zhong's palm with his sword was only the beginning. As he leapt up, his powerful physique granted him a shocking speed as he thrust his sword forward. It seemed that in the next second, his sword would be able to pierce through the head of this true Qi realm expert with a single strike. 8 Styles of Hidden Dragon. At the moment of life and death, Yang Zhong let out a low roar. The true energy in his body erupted like a volcano. He actually sent out 8 palms in an instant, forcefully shaking off Xing Hui's sure-kill sword strike. The sword qi contained in the sword was completely dispersed. Dragon coiling mountains and rivers. At the same time, his body trembled. A soft sword was suddenly pulled out from his waist, releasing a biting cold light. It was like a poisonous snake that completely wrapped around the green firmament sword. It was actually a second-level high-grade divine weapon. But, Yang Zhong's counterattack was only this. Blocking Xing Hui's sure-kill sword strike was already the limit of what Yang Zhong could do. As Xing Hui's essence, qi, and spirit boiled, the brilliant sword intent that evolved into a huge sun in his mind brazenly erupted. The green firmament sword's body shot out from his space and instantly pierced through Yang Zhong's head, flying. Flying sword. Yang Zhong's eyes widened as he spat out the last 2 words with difficulty. He fell to the ground and died. All of this seemed slow, but in reality, it happened in a flash. Not to mention ordinary people, even Princess Lan Yu and young Master Long Quan, the 2 awakening realm experts, did not react to this sudden change. It was only when Yang Zhong was shot to death and Xing Hui controlled the flying sword to return to its scabbard that Princess Lan Yu screamed, "Xing Hui, you, what are you doing?" This scream also woke up the shocked young Master Long Quan. For a moment, he could no longer care about the pride of being in his arms. He screamed in fear, "Assassin! Assassin! There's an assassin!" Buzz buzz. Sing Hui's sword trembled as sword chi shot out. The green firmament sword chi instantly cut off one of young Master Long Quan's arms, causing blood to splatter into the air. Ah! Young Master Long Quan, who had always been pampered, had never suffered such pain before. He let out a miserable scream. "Shut up! If you scream again, I'll take your left hand," Sing Hui said coldly. However, young Master Long Quan's consciousness was almost completely drowned by the pain of losing an arm. He could not hear Sing Hui's shout clearly, and his screams continued to ring in his ears. Seeing this, Sing Hui's expression did not change, but the green firmament sword in his hand had already stabbed out again. At this moment, Princess Lan Yu suddenly pushed him and shouted in disbelief, "Junior brother Sing Hui, are you crazy?" Bang! Sword chi sputtered. Due to Princess Lan Yu's push, Sing Hui's sword chi deviated and shot into the ground behind young Master Long Quan, leaving a sword mark on the ground. The sputtering stone fragments smashed onto young Master Long Quan's body. The force was not great, but it finally woke the screaming young Master Long Quan up. Without hesitation. From the moment Sing Hui killed Yang Zhong, cut off one of his arms, and then tried to cut off his other arm, there was no hesitation in the entire process. It seemed, Sing Hui in front of him did not put his identity as Fairy Bai Yu's younger brother in his eyes at all. Cutting off his arm and even taking his life was like killing a cat or a dog. An unprecedented fear surged in his heart, causing the painful screams that almost made him faint involuntarily stopped abruptly. "Young Master, who dares to be so presumptuous in young Master Long Quan's residence? How dare you?" At this moment, hearing young Master Long Quan's shout, the few Awakening Realm powerhouses closest to him finally rushed over. Two of them rushed into the living room at the same time. However, before young Master Long Quan could show joy for the arrival of the two Awakening Realm guards, Sing Hui's figure had already leaped up to meet the two Awakening Realm powerhouses who rushed into the living room. The green firmament sword in his hand was filled with sword chi, accompanied by bloody light. The two Awakening Realm powerhouses who rushed into the living room could not even withstand a single blow and were beheaded by the green firmament sword chi. After killing the two Awakening Realm powerhouses with a single strike, Sing Hui slashed the green firmament sword along the threshold in his hand. Stone chips flew everywhere, and a sword mark was instantly formed. "Those who cross the line will die." Hiss! The three Awakening Realm powerhouses who followed closely behind saw their two Awakening Realm colleagues killed in a single blow, and then thought of the dense sword chi when Sing Hui attacked just now. They could not help but tremble, and they hurriedly stopped and stood outside the living room. They were so frightened that they did not dare to take a step forward. You, when young Master Long Quan saw the three cowering people, he could not help but open his mouth to curse. However, when Sing Hui's gaze swept over, the anger that had just risen in his heart immediately turned cold, as if a bucket of ice water had been poured over him in the dead of winter. "Junior brother Sing Hui, you are..." Princess Lan Yu was frightened by the scene in front of her, and she was at a loss for what to do. She never thought that Sing Hui would use such a violent method to deal with this matter. Looking at young Master Long Quan, who had lost an arm and was full of fear, she could not help but bitterly say, "You've caused a disaster." "Disaster?" Sing Hui shook his head, "Not to mention that Aunt Nalan will more or less take care of me, even if Aunt Nalan is forced to stand aside and do nothing, so what? I am an Awakening Realm cultivator, and I have a Stage 3 divine weapon. The world is so big, where can I not go?" His sister, Biu, is at most a true disciple of the Hunyuan Heaven sect who has cultivated Qi into aura. She can't cover the sky with one hand. If I go to a country under the jurisdiction of the Shinshao Sword sect, would she have the courage to chase after me? What disaster is there to talk about? This, Princess Lan Yu did not know how to respond to Tsing Hui's words. From her standpoint, she was the princess of the Wei Sea Kingdom. If she caused a disaster, there was nowhere to run. But Xing Hui was different. If Fairy Biyu, who supported young Master Long Quan, dared to implicate the Zhuo family because of Xing Hui, Nailan Fei would not let it go. Even if the Sky Origin Peak Master mediated, Nailan Fei would at most take a step back and no longer protect Xing Hui. And just as Xing Hui said, he was an Awakening Realm cultivator with a Stage 3 divine weapon. Even if he lost the protection of Nailan Fei, where could he not go in the world? Therefore, the threat of young Master Long Quan's backer was not as great as she had imagined. Xing Hui glanced at Princess Lan Yu, but did not elaborate. With the divine technique, if Biyu dared to come alone to avenge Long Quan, he dared to kill her as well. After intimidating the Awakening Realm cultivators, Xing Hui turned his gaze to the pale-faced young Master Long Quan. Now, can we discuss the matter of Wu Yuyao? Chapter 68. Wu Yuyao. You can do whatever you want. I'll order someone to release Wu Yuyao. Don't mess around. As soon as Xing Hui spoke, young Master Long Quan had already retreated in horror and hurriedly promised. Xing Hui glanced at him and said no more. He only said to the frightened servant who had yet to leave, I need to see Wu Yuyao in half an hour. For every quarter of an hour wasted, I'll cut off one of his limbs. After saying that, he glanced at young Master Long Quan, who was clutching the wound on his broken arm. Your young master can still let you delay for 3/4 of an hour. Go, get the hell out of here. If you're late by half an hour, I'll take your head. Young Master Longxuan's voice was shrill as he roared at the servant. Yes. The terrified servant was so scared that he quickly ran out of the living room and disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. Xing Hui glanced at the several Awakening Realm experts who were gradually gathering outside the door. He did not say anything and just waited. This. Xing Hui. Prince Xing Hui. Can I bandage the wound on my hand first? Young Master Longxuan's hand was constantly bleeding. Because he had lost too much, his face had gradually turned pale and his head was slightly dizzy. Awakening Realm cultivators have strong physiques. A little injury won't kill you. You'd better not act rashly. If you cause a misunderstanding, your left hand will also be taken away from you. Young Master Long Quan was so scared that he trembled and did not dare to say another word. Xing Hui's coldness and fierceness just now was accompanied by an extremely dense cloud of death that lingered above his head, causing him to be shrouded in endless fear at this moment. Damn it! Xing Hui. I'll remember you. After this, I'll definitely let my sister send experts to capture you alive and torture you ruthlessly. I'll make you beg for death. And Wu Yuyao and Lan Yu, those two bitches, just you wait. I swear, when the time comes, you'll regret being born in this world. Young Master Long Quan kept cursing in his heart. He had been a playboy in the Eastern Cloud Empire until now and had never been humiliated like this. Xing Hui, now that things have escalated to this point, how do you plan to deal with it? Princess Lan Yu looked at Xing Hui and whispered. Only then did she realize that the man in front of her was the one who destroyed the Demon Hunters Union's Lorraine Kingdom branch without a word, and then destroyed a large sect that had been passed down for hundreds of years. If one thought that he was as honest and harmless as he seemed on the surface, then one would be gravely mistaken. It's all right. You chopped off one of young Master Dragon Spring's arms, so Fairy Jasper will definitely not let the matter rest. You better send a message to Senior Sister Nailan as soon as possible. With Senior Sister Nailan protecting you, I believe Fairy Jasper won't dare to go too far. I'll take care of it. But, calm down. Xing Hui interrupted Princess Bluefeather's unnecessary worries. Seeing this, Princess Bluefeather sighed and said no more. Under the pressure of life and death, the speed of the servants could not be said to be slow. In less than half an hour, a group of people had hurried to the courtyard outside the living room with Wu Yuyao. Among the newly arrived people, there were 3 powerhouses in the Awakening Realm, and the leader was an old man who had reached the peak of the Awakening Realm. He was not much inferior to Wang Jianxian. The 3 powerhouses in the Awakening Realm and the other 3 powerhouses in the Awakening Realm who had been waiting outside joined together, making the number of powerhouses in the Awakening Realm reach 6. Including the old man in the lead, it seemed that they had formed a formidable force. Prince Tsinghui, Wu Yuyao, who was originally a little panicked and at a loss, let out a cry of surprise when she saw Tsinghui in the living room. But in the next moment, a divine weapon overflowing with cold light was placed on her pink jade neck. "Let go of our young master immediately, or we will kill this little girl." Tsinghui withdrew his gaze from the old man and turned to young Master Dragon Spring. "Do you need me to cut off your left hand?" "You, one person for one person. We let Wu Yuyao go, and you have to let me leave here." Young Master Dragon Spring understood that if he wanted to leave alive, it would depend on this. "You have the sister of a true disciple of the Hunyuan Heaven sect behind you. Maybe I don't dare to kill you. Why don't you try? I'll give you 3 seconds to consider." 1. You. I'll go and ask them to let her go. Young Master Dragon Spring stepped forward. He had some confidence in his sister. She was a true disciple of the Hunyuan Heaven sect, backed by the Sky Origin Peak Master. Even the imperial family of the Eastern Cloud Empire had to give his sister face. He did not believe that Tsinghui would really dare to kill him. Using the excuse of letting her go, he seemed to want to bypass Tsinghui and step out of the living room. Swish! But the moment he took a step, the Qingshao sword in Tsinghui's hand moved again. Sword Qi. A sword Qi burst out from the Qingshao sword and instantly pierced through young Master Dragon Spring's shoulder, rolling up a burst of blood. "Ah! Young Master! Bastard! Do you believe that I won't kill her?" Young Master Dragon Spring's scream and the roars of several powerhouses in the Awakening Realm sounded at the same time. "You should be thankful that your left hand didn't leave you." Young Master Dragon Spring's heart was filled with anger. The pain and humiliation made him want to grind Tsinghui's bones to dust and scatter his corpse into thousands of pieces. But in the end, he did not dare to joke around with his life. With Tsinghui's ferocity, if he did not let her go, he might really cut off his left hand. For a moment, he could not care less about his anger and hurriedly shouted, "Let her go, let her go. Boy, you better not play any tricks. Don't think that you're so great just because you're in the Awakening Realm. If you really dare to hurt young Master Dragon Spring again, with Senior Sister Biyu's ability, even if you escape to the ends of the earth, only death will await you." The old man did not dare to force himself. He fiercely threatened Tsinghui and removed the sword from Wu Yuyao's neck. Prince Tsinghui, Wu Yuyao suddenly rushed into the living room and hid behind Tsinghui with a panicked expression. These days of fear made her look even more weak and pitiful at this moment. Princess Lanyu on the side also understood why Tsinghui was angry because of Wu Yuyao. "Prince Tsinghui, look, we've already sent Miss Wu here, and she hasn't suffered any injuries. Can you allow me to leave first? Over the years, you've relied on that woman Biyu's protection to do a lot of outrageous things. You should have long thought that you would have to pay the price today. Cutting off one of your arms is a crime you deserve." Yes, 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 all of this is what I deserve. From now on, I will abandon evil and turn to good. I will not dare to force others to do anything. Young Master Dragon Spring heard that Tsinghui seemed to have the intention to end this and quickly nodded. He was a fish on the chopping block. The most important thing now was to protect his own life. But in his heart, he gritted his teeth and made up his mind. Once he was sure that he was safe, he would immediately ask his sister to send a large number of true Qi realm experts to capture Tsinghui. He swore that he would not be a man if he did not take revenge. Tsinghui did not speak. Instead, he looked at young Master Dragon Spring, causing him to tremble with fear and uneasiness. "Prince Tsinghui, may I leave?" "Forget it," Tsinghui suddenly said. However, just when young Master Dragon Spring thought that "forget it" meant that Xing Hui did not intend to pursue the matter and wanted to breathe a sigh of relief, Xing Hui's next words made him feel cold all over. "It's impossible for a person like you to have a heart of repentance. It's useless to persuade you. The best way is to kill you, once and for all." "Prince Xing Hui, you can't." Princess Lan Yu was shocked and hurriedly stopped him. "Senior sister Nalan can still protect you if you chop off one of his arms. But once you really kill him, Fairy Bai Yu will definitely go completely mad." "Yes, yes, yes. Prince Xing Hui, I already have a heart of repentance. Please give me a chance to turn over a new leaf. I guarantee you that from today onwards, I'll definitely abstain from meat and pray to Buddha. I won't dare to do any evil in the slightest. Moreover, I won't allow my sister to look for trouble with you, Prince Xing Hui. You have to believe me." Young Master Dragon Spring's face was filled with terror as he hurriedly begged for mercy. He didn't even dare to arouse the ferocious thoughts of revenge. At this moment, he only had one thought left. Live. Live. As for what happened in the future, it was all built on the premise that he lived. Do you think that if I don't kill him, with his character and how much his sister Bai Yu dotes on him, he won't take revenge? No. No. Absolutely not. Young Master Dragon Spring was truly afraid. At this moment, his heart was filled with regret. How could he have inexplicably offended a madman like Xing Hui who didn't care about the consequences? It was just a woman. With his status, there were plenty of women he wanted. Now, he only hoped to live. "Prince Xing Hui, I guarantee that I won't give you any more trouble. I swear. I swear to the heavens." Xing Hui. Xing Hui turned a blind eye to Princess Lan Yu's dissuasion and young Master Dragon Spring's oath. "Be a good person in your next life." Swish. The green firmament sword stabbed out. Boom. A layer of energy burst out from young Master Dragon Spring's body. A protective jade talisman. But, it was useless. The energy lasted for less than an instant before it collapsed. The sword stabbed out, piercing young Master Dragon Spring's throat and coming out from the back of his neck. Chi. The green firmament sword returned to its sheath, bringing out a pool of blood. Young Master Dragon Spring covered the hole in his throat. His eyes were wide open, filled with fear and regret. If he had known that a madman like Xing Hui stood behind Wu Yuyao, he wouldn't have put himself in danger even if he had 10 times the courage. But now, it was too late. Darkness quickly swallowed him. Looking at young Master Dragon Spring who was slowly falling backward, Princess Lan Yu opened her mouth wide, unable to say a word. The old man in the awakening realm let out a roar of shock and anger. "No. Young Master. Young Master Dragon Spring. You actually killed young Master Dragon Spring. You're dead. You're dead." The few awakening realm powerhouses who were with the old man shouted in anger and madness at the same time. Noisy. Xing Hui's expression turned cold. His figure suddenly leaped forward, stabbing towards the 6 awakening realm powerhouses outside the hall. The green firmament sword moved, sword energy crisscrossing. Xing Hui, who rushed out of the living room, seemed to have swept up a storm of sword energy. In an instant, the eaves of the living room were torn into pieces. The remaining sword energy shot into the 6 awakening realm powerhouses, causing them to cry out in shock and retreat. Even so, one of them reacted half a beat slower and was pierced between the eyebrows by one of the sword energy, shooting him to death on the spot. Chapter 69. Ah! Let's go. Let's go. We can't resist the sharpness of a stage 3 divine weapon. Go back and report this to Fairy Bai Yu immediately. Exclamations and screams continuously sounded from the surviving awakening realm experts and the onlooking servants. Long Quan has harmed countless women and families. All of you have contributed to his crimes. You will all die together. Tsing Hui's figure flew up. The attribute of a Tier 22 allowed his movement technique to not lose out to any true energy realm expert. Not to mention that he still had a Tier 3 upper-grade green firmament sword in his hand. Even if he did not have the green firmament sword in his hand, based on his own cultivation, it was enough to kill everyone present. Whoosh! The green cloud sword danced, and sword chi swept across. One by one, the Awakening Realm experts, Viscera Refining Realm, and Blood-Changing Realm guards were all killed by the green cloud sword. Wherever the sword chi went, no one could stop it. Even though some of the Awakening Realm experts also held divine weapons, they were still mercilessly shot to death in front of the Stage 3 divine weapons' indestructible sharpness and sword chi. Ah! Fairy Bai Yu will avenge us. Accompanied by the last old man's scream, the remaining 5 Awakening Realm experts were all killed. Blood flowed like a river in young Master Longquan's mansion. It was just like the Demon Hunters' Union that Tsing Hui had suppressed in the Divine Weapon Tower. Whoosh! After killing all the Awakening Realm experts in the mansion, Tsing Hui's figure flashed and swept up a wave of air as he stepped back into the living room. That kind of oppressive and fierce aura made Princess Lan Yu, who was an Awakening Realm expert, unable to help but retreat. Her eyes were filled with fear. Princess Lan Yu looked at Tsing Hui. Her eyes were no longer as casual as before. Instead, there was a trace of fear and reverence. Are you really only in the Awakening Realm? Alright, let's go. Tsing Hui did not answer. It was very difficult for a cultivator to restrain all of their power, and the feeling of suppressing it was very unfavorable for future cultivation. Because of this, a person's cultivation could be seen at a glance. From the movement technique you displayed just now, it's not inferior to a true energy realm expert. Tsing Hui, don't tell me you've awakened a holy beast bloodline, and it's even a speed-type holy beast bloodline. So what if I am? Princess Lan Yu's eyes lit up. If you've really awakened a sacred beast bloodline, your status will be completely different. Let alone ordinary factions, even in the Hunyuan Heaven sect, less than 1/10 of those have awakened a sacred beast bloodline. If you can maintain the purity of your sacred beast bloodline and cultivate to the true chi stage, it won't be difficult for you to catch the eye of an elder and be accepted as a disciple. If an elder is willing to protect you and senior sister Nalan is involved, the peak master of Sky Origin will definitely choose to stand by and watch. When that time comes, Fairy Bai Yu won't be able to borrow the peak master's power and will easily be dealt with by senior sister Nalan. Tsing Hui shook his head. I will deal with this matter myself. How will you deal with it? For this matter, you can only rely on senior sister Nalan's strength. Although you have a rank 3 divine weapon, senior sister Bu is highly regarded by the Void Origin Peak Master, so she definitely has one as well. It's very likely that it's a high rank 3 divine weapon. The only way to resolve this is to contact senior sister Nalan. Princess Lan Yu glanced at Wu Yuyao. If you're alone, you can just leave. Senior sister Bai Yu can't do anything to you, but what about Miss Wu? You can't just ignore her. Junior brother Long Quan died because of her. Senior sister Bai Yu won't let this matter rest. Wu Yuyao, Tsing Hui frowned when he heard Princess Lan Yu mention her. This was indeed a problem. Even though Wu Yuyao did not have much of a place in his heart, the 20 Dao ripples in his body were all obtained because of Wu Yuyao. Furthermore, he had also promised to protect Wu Yuyao. If Bai Yu were to vent her anger on Wu Yuyao, only senior sister Nalan can deal with this matter. Tsing Hui nodded. He had to admit this fact. However, although killing young Master Long Quan brought some trouble, Tsing Hui didn't regret it. Even if he didn't kill young Master Long Quan, the latter wouldn't let this matter rest. What he needed to do now was to ensure that Wu Yuyao wasn't implicated. Send Wu Yuyao to the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Tsing Hui said. What about you? I still have something to do. Xing Hui didn't wait for Princess Lan Yu to speak and waved his hand. I've already made up my mind. No need to persuade me. Princess Lan Yu couldn't understand. This matter could be perfectly resolved if Xing Hui joined the Hunyuan Heaven sect, but why? There's a flying boat from the Eastern Cloud Empire to the Hunyuan Heaven sect every day. It takes off on time in the morning. It's late now. Rest for a day and bring Wu Yuyao to the Hunyuan Heaven sect tomorrow morning. After saying that, Qing Su really did not want to owe her any more favors, so she took out a small booklet and passed it to Princess Lan Yu. Please take this to Auntie Nalan. Treat it as some compensation for using her name so many times. This is, seeing the booklet Xing Hui took out, Princess Lan Yu seemed to have thought of something. Her breath suddenly stopped. Peng Unhindered Art, High-Grade Saint Technique. Saint Technique. Even though she was mentally prepared, Princess Lan Yu still felt her heart tremble when she heard the word Saint Technique. Saint Technique. This is a Saint Technique. And it's a high-grade Saint Technique. Heavenly Peng, this is the bloodline Prince Xing Hui awakened. No wonder you can travel at such speed. Keep it well. Don't lose it. Xing Hui handed the booklet over. Princess Lan Yu's hands trembled slightly as she received the Peng Unhindered Art. She solemnly promised, Prince Xing Hui, don't worry. Even if I have to risk my life, I will deliver this technique to senior sister Nalan. You, the princess of the Wei Sea Kingdom, followed me into young Master Long Quan's residence and will probably be affected. I'll allow you to make a copy of the Peng Unhindered Art. I can make a copy of it too. Princess Lan Yu's pretty face was filled with pleasant surprise when she heard that, and she bowed repeatedly to express her gratitude. Thank you, young Master Qing Su. Thank you, young Master Qing Su. Lan Yu will definitely remember young Master Qing Su's kindness and will never forget it. This was a high-grade saint technique. This was a top-notch technique that could be passed down in the royal family and ensure the longevity of the royal family. As long as someone in the Wei Sea royal family could use this technique to awaken a sacred beast bloodline and become a disciple of an elder, the entire royal family would soar. It was not impossible for them to develop to a level not inferior to the Eastern Cloud Empire in the future. Compared to the huge benefits of obtaining this high-grade saint technique, offending senior sister Bu was nothing. That's all. Xing Hui's gaze fell on Wu Yuyao. You will follow Princess Lan Yu to the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Wu Yuyao knew that she would only be a burden if she followed Xing Hui. Moreover, because of Wu Zhenyuan and Wu Ju, she had a deep fear of Xing Hui. She did not reject the idea of leaving Xing Hui's side and going to the Hunyuan Heaven sect. She only responded pitifully, I will follow Prince Xing Hui's orders. Don't worry, Prince Xing Hui. I will not let Miss Wu come to any harm. Princess Lan Yu's attitude had undergone a huge change. She began to consider problems from Xing Hui's standpoint. She looked at him with a strange gaze. Young Master Longquan is deeply doted on by Fairy Bu. There must be many good things in his residence. If Prince Xing Hui looks carefully, you will definitely find something. Take Wu Yuyao to buy the tickets. You don't need to bother with the matters here. Yes. Princess Lan Yu bowed gracefully and left with Wu Yuyao. As she walked out of the living room with Wu Yuyao, she secretly glanced back at Xing Hui. She knew that although she was inferior to Wu Yuyao in terms of looks, her background and temperament were better than Wu Yuyao's. Since Xing Hui had taken a fancy to Wu Yuyao, she might have a chance. She was a cultivator who had awakened a sacred beast bloodline. However, she had to think of a way to let Xing Hui enter the Hunyuan Heaven sect. At that time, the two of them would be in the same sect, and with the relationship they had today, they would have the upper hand. Xing Hui did not know about the change in Princess Lan Yu's thoughts. After putting the good things on young Master Longquan, Yang Zhong, and the other cultivators into his personal space, he quickly found young Master Longquan's treasure room according to the layout of his residence. It had to be said that Bai Yu doted on her younger brother very much. There were many kinds of treasures in young Master Longquan's treasure room. Although most of them were elixirs, natural treasures, and refined spirit beast blood essence, in terms of total value, they were almost on the same level as the 10,000 Swords Mountain, an ancient sect that had been passed down for hundreds of years. The treasures on the younger brother of a true disciple were close to the treasures of a centuries-old sect. This was proof of the Hunyuan Heaven sect's wealth. This made Xing Hui, who understood the power of a divine weapon, a little more vigilant. With the divine art, he was not afraid of Bai Yu, who had cultivated her qi into energy and wielded a grade 3 divine weapon. But what if the divine weapon in Bai Yu's hand was not a grade 3 divine weapon, but a grade 4 one? But now, what he needed to do was to pack up all these things as soon as possible. After a few hours, Qing Su stowed everything away in her personal space. She raised her head and glanced at the pitch-black night sky. Before long, she directly left young Master Long Quan's residence and the capital of the Eastern Cloud Empire. She made her way to the place where the Dawn Organization and the Sword Master Bai Heng had agreed on. After Xing Hui left, the news of young Master Long Quan being killed by Xing Hui from the Lorraine Kingdom was spread by the surviving servants and slowly spread. For a time, it set off a storm in the Eastern Cloud Empire. After the Lorraine Kingdom, Xing Hui's name quickly spread throughout the Eastern Cloud Empire's imperial capital. Everyone was thinking of all sorts of ways to find out exactly who this culprit who dared to kill young Master Long Quan, this hedonistic son of rich parents, was, and what his background was. But Xing Hui naturally did not know. Even if he knew, he would not care. The date of the Dawn Organization's meeting was approaching. He did not have much time to waste in the Eastern Cloud Empire's imperial capital. He left the Eastern Cloud Empire's imperial capital and hurried to the Cloud Pool in the Cloud Wilderness. When he arrived at the trading location in the Eastern Cloud Empire's imperial capital, he had also arrived at the agreed time with the Dawn Organization. Chapter 70. Your Excellency Pak Hui. In the forest, Ling Yu, who was wearing a black robe and a veil, suddenly appeared. Leader Ling Yu. Xing Hui nodded. He was also wearing a black robe with his face covered. The identity of a son of chaos in the real world was of utmost importance. In this world, there were many organizations that specialized in capturing sons of chaos. Without strength, once exposed, one would become the prey. Under such circumstances, hiding one's identity outside of the Chaos Temple was an unspoken rule that anyone could understand. Those who wish to trade have arrived. However, since Your Excellency Pak Hui is a newcomer, I will be in charge of receiving you first before bringing you to the rendezvous point. When Your Excellency Pak Hui stepped into this area, I have already secretly observed Your Excellency Pak Hui. Please forgive me for my rudeness. I understand. Please follow me. Ling Yu smiled and brought Xing Hui deeper into the cloud-desolate mountain range. The two of them, one in front and one behind, quickly traversed 100 li and arrived at a place surrounded by mountains. There were already 10 people waiting here. Leader. Lord Ling Yu. Seeing Ling Yu's arrival, the 10 people either nodded at her or stood up to greet her. Many of them glanced at Xing Hui with a hint of caution. After all, Xing Hui was just a newcomer. Who knew if he really obtained the inheritance of a son of chaos by chance, or if he was a bait placed in the outside world by those organizations that specialized in capturing sons of chaos. This is Your Excellency Pak Hui. You have already met her in the Chaos Temple. I have carefully observed Your Excellency Pak Hui and did not find anything unusual. Ling Yu said. Everyone present let out a sigh of relief. In addition, Xing Hui was obviously only in the awakening realm. This made them feel more at ease with Xing Hui. While these people were sizing up Xing Hui was also sizing them up. The 10 people, most of them were in the true Qi realm and spirit refining realm. Other than Ling Yu, there was only one in the spirit Qi unity realm. Xing Yao. However, he had probably just stepped into the unity of spirit and chi realm not too long ago. Dawn was only a small organization. To be able to gather such a large number of people and practitioners in one trade was already considered good. Everyone is here. Let's set off now. As Ling Yu spoke, she waved her hand and a metal ball with a diameter of 3 meters appeared. Then, the metal ball rapidly transformed into a golden heavenly peng with a wingspan of 10 meters. This is the 4th tier high-grade flying magic artifact, the Sacred Winged Golden Rock. I didn't expect Lord Leader to be able to buy a Sacred Winged Golden Rock. Compared to a flying boat, although the Sacred Winged Golden Rock can only carry a tenth of its passengers, its speed is 3 times faster. The Sacred Winged Golden Rock's flying speed is a little slower than a 4th-grade flying sword, but it's superior in that it can carry 10 to 20 people at the same time. Moreover, it's easy to operate and doesn't have to face the biting cold astral winds. Everyone exclaimed in surprise when they saw Ling Yu take it out. Alright, everyone come up. The time we agreed upon with Sword Master Bai Heng is about to arrive. In order to not keep Lord Sword Master Bai Heng waiting for too long, let's head to the real transaction location now. Ling Yu said. Understood. Immediately, the 12 people, including Xing Hui, boarded the Sacred Winged Golden Rock. Ling Yu placed spirit stones in the front and controlled the Sacred Winged Golden Rock. The Sacred Winged Golden Rock quickly spread its wings and flew into the depths of the Cloud Wilderness mountain range. Xing Hui sat inside the Sacred Winged Golden Rock with a strange expression. The layout inside the Sacred Winged Golden Rock, no matter how he looked at it, it was somewhat similar to a medium-sized private jet on Earth. A 4th-tier flying magic artifact was already not inferior to a medium-sized private jet. Then, who knew what higher-grade magic artifacts, spirit artifacts, and sacred artifacts would be like? For a moment, Xing Hui couldn't help but have the urge to see the true appearance of this world's cultivation civilization, however, he quickly suppressed this thought. Opportunity, there would be one. However, his current main mission was to cultivate to the vanquishing Void Realm as soon as possible and find ancient god Jun's cave abode. Then, he would use the teleportation array in the cave abode to return to Earth and fulfill his promise to Jiang Ningji. The Sacred Winged Golden Rock was very fast. Under Ling Yu's control, it flew at the speed of sound, shuttling through the sea of clouds. Along the way, there were many flying beasts in the Cloud Wilderness mountain range. However, before they could get close to the Sacred Winged Golden Rock, Ling Yu, who was in the unity of spirit realm, killed them with her sword. An hour later, when everyone was about 300 kilometers away from the rendezvous point, the Sacred Winged Golden Rock landed on the side of a crack in the ground. Ling Yu waited for everyone to get off the sagely winged golden rock before putting it back into her personal storage space. She then pointed at the bottomless crack in the ground and said, "There's an underground river here. It extends in all directions and has countless canals. If there's really any danger, we'll jump into the river and escape with the flow. Then, we'll leave our lives to fate." However, that's the worst plan. Dawn is still young and has never been targeted. For the past 19 years, other than that one time 4 years ago, we've successfully completed our transactions. 4 years ago. It's all that traitor Dragon Shadow's fault. Don't let us find him again. Otherwise, we'll tear that traitor to shreds. We naturally trust Leader Ling Yu. Leader, to prevent any unforeseen circumstances, let's start as soon as possible. Ling Yu nodded. Following some subtle changes in her mind waves, everyone quickly fell silent. During this time, everyone was also observing their surroundings and probing the underground river. They were preparing to escape as soon as possible if an accident occurred. Although the probability of an accident occurring was actually only 1 in 5 or even 1 in 10, it was always better to be careful. Your Excellency Pak Hui. While everyone was investigating their surroundings, Feng Hui, Bai Hai, and Void Cloud had already arrived in front of Xing Hui. Xing Hui greeted the three of them. Your Excellency Pak Hui has already entered the awakening realm. Are you preparing a divine codex for your family? Bai Hai asked curiously. Xing Hui nodded slightly. Seeing that Xing Hui was unwilling to say more, Bai Hai nodded understandingly and did not ask any more questions. Time passed as they waited. After about half an hour, a glimmer of light suddenly appeared in Ling Yu's eyes. Everyone, follow me to welcome Sword Master Bai Heng. You must not be rude to him during the transaction. We understand. Is he here? This is my first time seeing Sword Master Bai Heng. It's said that Sword Master Bai Heng is devastatingly beautiful. Unfortunately, he's always covered his face with a veil. I wonder if that's true. Everyone immediately perked up at Ling Yu's reminder. Ling Yu focused her mind and released her mind power. In fact, she was now a coordinate for Sword Master Bai Heng to use her mind waves as a foundation and perform the incarnation skill through the Chaos Temple. Only then could he project his mind consciousness from Tianhuang region to the eastern wilderness from hundreds of millions of kilometers away. Buzz buzz. As the ripples in the void changed, a figure suddenly appeared in the void. It was a woman. A woman in white with a sword on her back. The moment this woman appeared, her body seemed to radiate a dazzling divine light. She was like a dazzling sun, completely illuminating a radius of hundreds of meters. The intense light caused many people to be unable to open their eyes for a while. This was the result of the incarnation skill's newly formed power leaking without precise control. However, the woman in white quickly retracted her divine light into her body and slowly landed on the ground. Although she covered her face with a veil, her noble, sacred, and inviolable aura shocked everyone present. They did not even dare to breathe loudly. Sword Master Bai Heng had arrived. What a strong mental pressure. Xing Hui thought to himself. The strength of the incarnation skill projected by Sword Master Bai Heng was not worth mentioning. It was probably not at the awakening realm, but the mental will and the dazzling sun-like sword intent in the incarnation skill had far surpassed that of the mysterious stone pillar Xing Hui had seen in the ancestral land of the 10,000 Swords Mountain. If anyone thought that the incarnation skill of Sword Master Bai Heng was weak, they would be gravely mistaken. She did not need a body. She could kill everyone present except for Xing Yao and Ling Yu just by relying on the sword intent in the incarnation skill. Even Xing Hui might not be able to survive the impact of such powerful sword intent if Sword Master Bai Heng focused on him. No wonder she's a top expert of Tianhuang region. Even though she's hundreds of millions of kilometers away, the sword intent she can manifest is probably only 1/100th of that, but still. Welcome, Sword Master Bai Heng. Ling Yu had already led everyone to bow respectfully. Sword Master Bai Heng glanced at Ling Yu and the others one by one and said calmly, "Have you prepared the items for the trade?" "We have 2 items in this trade. One is the Supreme Saint Technique, the White Tiger Sacred Body, and the other is an Awakening Divine Codex. These are the 25 Tao auras needed to exchange for the White Tiger Sacred Body. Please take a look, Sword Master Bai Heng." As Ling Yu spoke, she handed over the Tao-carrying items that everyone had prepared beforehand. Sword Master Bai Heng took the items and asked, "Who is the successor?" "Sword Master Bai Heng, please bestow the technique." Ling Yu bowed respectfully. "Okay." Sword Master Bai Heng did not hesitate. He pointed his slender finger between Ling Yu's eyebrows, and the mental waves on their bodies changed at the same time. After about 10 breaths, Sword Master Bai Heng stopped. The inheritance was over. However, Sword Master Bai Heng's mental strength decreased by 20%. "Thank you, Sword Master Bai Heng." After a short while, Ling Yu opened her eyes and bowed excitedly. "Thank you, Sword Master Bai Heng. You can dictate to the others." "Yes." As soon as Ling Yu finished speaking, the 7 participants who had participated in the White Tiger Sacred Body cultivation method immediately stepped forward. As Ling Yu performed a technique to isolate her voice, she immediately finished dictating to the 7 of them under Sword Master Bai Heng's witness. After she finished dictating, Sword Master Bai Heng nodded to indicate that there was no mistake. Ling Yu then turned to Tsing Hui again while Tsing Hui, Feng Hui, Yun Kong, and Bai Hai stepped forward. Tsing Hui stepped forward and collected the items in their hands. Then, he took out a fragment that contained level 2 Taoist rhymes and handed it to Sword Master Bai Heng. Sword Master Bai Heng, please bestow upon us an awakening technique. Sword Master Bai Heng nodded as usual. However, when his gaze fell on the fragment in Tsing Hui's hand, there was a slight change in his expression. The next moment, Sword Master Bai Heng's mental message rang in Tsing Hui's mind. This item is one of the fragments of the Saint Soul Pearl. Do you have any other fragments? Saint Soul Pearl. Tsing Hui thought of something and immediately sent the other 9 fragments of the Saint Soul Pearl to Sword Master Bai Heng using the mental message technique. Seeing how Qing Su had also grasped a soul communication technique, Sword Master Bai Heng could not help but glance at him. After receiving his message, he said straightforwardly, I need all 10 fragments of the Saint Soul Pearl. I have 2 that you can choose from. The first is the Truth of Primordial Chaos, a high-tier divine scripture. Apart from being able to awaken the Kuan Peng bloodline, it also has a cultivation method to reach the 4th level of longevity. It's worth 70 rhythms of ways, but it's worth 1 less because the cultivation method is incomplete. The second is the Torch Sun scripture, a regular divine scripture. It can awaken the Great Sun True God's Torch Dragon bloodline and reach the 6th level of longevity. It costs 55 rhythms of ways. Chapter 71. Torch Sun Sutra. Tsing Hui suddenly thought of Sword Master Bai Heng's name. Bai Heng, was it not the Heng from eternity, but the Heng from the stars? Sword Master Bai Heng is cultivating the Torch Sun Sutra. That's right. The Torch Sun Sutra is one of the techniques I cultivate. Does Sword Master Bai Heng have the Chaos Essence Scripture and the Torch Sun Sutra? The Chaos Essence Scripture is only at the 4th stage of the longevity stage. You have to exchange for the other techniques. I have already cultivated the Torch Sun Sutra to the 6th stage of the Sage stage. What she meant was that she also had the 6th stage of the Sage stage. Tsing Hui immediately made a decision. I choose the Torch Sun Sutra. Although the Chaos Essence scripture was good and had a 30% chance of awakening the Kuan Peng bloodline, Tsing Hui did not want to run around for the other techniques in the future. On the other hand, if he wanted to cultivate the Torch Sun Sutra, he could trade it with Sword Master Bai Heng. It would save him the trouble of running around looking for the other techniques. He was pressed for time and did not want to wait for a few years because he did not have the other techniques. Tsing Hui's answer seemed to surprise Sword Master Bai Heng. She fell silent for a while. There was a difference of 15 points between 70 and 55 Taoist rhymes. After a few breaths, she spoke again. Okay. Thank you. Prepare the inheritance. Tsing Hui immediately focused his mind. In the next moment, a scorching sword intent suddenly stepped into Qing Su's mental world with resplendent light like the sun. It made it seem like 2 suns had appeared in Qing Su's mental world that possessed the Golden Crow's bloodline in the first place. They shone brilliantly against each other. Golden Crow bloodline. Sword Master Bai Heng, who stepped into Tsing Hui's mind, sensed that the blazing sun had a slight change in his mind. I didn't expect you to have such an opportunity. Sword Master Bai Heng's voice sounded again. I was just lucky. Prepare the inheritance. After Sword Master Bai Heng finished speaking, a majestic consciousness collided with Tsing Hui's mind. Countless images flashed through his mind. The awakening method, the body tempering method of the first level of longevity, the void refinement method of the second level of longevity, the chi refinement method of the third level of longevity, the chi refinement method of the third level of longevity, the divine chi integration method of the fourth level of longevity, the heaven-man intersection method of the fifth level of longevity, and the sacred body manifestation method of the sixth level of longevity. The inheritance of consciousness was completely based on the Sword Master Bai Heng's own experiences in practicing these methods. Qing Su would obviously absorb some of the Sword Master Bai Heng's understanding of these methods, so he already possessed a certain foundation in these methods before he even began practicing them. After the inheritance of the awakening method and the longevity state 6 cultivation method was completed, Sword Master Bai Heng's consciousness did not dissipate. Instead, it materialized a sword technique in Xing Hui's mind. It was a sword technique that was different from the Illuminating Sun Sutra, but it could mobilize the mysteries of the sun. After leaving this sword style in Xing Hui's mind, Sword Master Bai Heng stopped the connection between their consciousnesses. The sword of the glorious sun is a swordsmanship that I derived. It's not easy to cultivate the bloodline of the golden crow. I hope you won't die on the way to the immortal level. Glorious sun. A swordsmanship that simulated the eruption of the sun required one to master one's vital chi, sword intent, and talent to the extreme. The degree of mastery, the strength of vital chi, the strength of sword intent, and the power of bloodline would determine the ultimate power of the sword. This was a fatal sword move, a fatal sword move. Xing Hui even felt that the value of this swordsmanship alone was not inferior to the Illuminating Sun Sutra. Thank you. Xing Hui said seriously. You're welcome. Sword Master Bai Heng said and withdrew his consciousness. Sword Master Bai Heng had always been cold and practical. It was very rare to hear that she would give extra guidance to her successor. If it were not for the fact that Qing Su had given away the Saint's soul pearl that seemed to be of extraordinary value and that he had cultivated the Golden Crow's bloodline, he might not have had such a fortuitous encounter either. As if sensing that the inheritance had been completed, Yun-Kong, Bai Hai, and Feng Hui quickly surrounded him. Xing Hui immediately recited the Illuminating Sun Sutra to the three of them. The Illuminating Dragon was one of the most mysterious divine beasts. There were different versions of its magical powers. The most common version was that the Illuminating Dragon was called the Great Sun True God. Some said that it was the essence of the Western Sun. Both were related to the sun. Another version said that it controlled the order of time and was called the Dragon of Time. The last version was extremely mystical. It was called the Creator Primordial Spirit. It had the head of a dragon and the body of a snake. When it breathed, it was wind and rain. When it blew, it was thunder and lightning. When it opened its eyes, it was day, and when it closed its eyes, it was night. However, according to Sword Master Bai Heng's methods, the Great Sun True God was obviously more reliable. As Xing Hui recited, Feng Hui, Bai Hai, and Yun-Kong listened attentively. When Xing Hui finished reciting the Illuminating Sun Sutra, although the three of them had memorized it, they still did not have a clear understanding of this divine beast. They secretly decided to go back and read the ancient books to comprehend it. After confirming that Xing Hui's recitation of the Illuminating Sun Sutra was correct, Sword Master Bai Heng turned to Ling Yu. The deal is done. Goodbye. Farewell, Sword Master Bai Heng. Ling Yu hurriedly led the Dawn people to bow. Sword Master Bai Heng did not say anything. He only glanced at Xing Hui before he left, and then he soared into the air and his incarnation dissipated. Bang! It was as if a scorching sun had erupted in the void, releasing tens of thousands of rays of light. Blazing heat waves rolled across, covering the brilliance of the sun. A clone that's separated by billions of kilometers actually possesses such might. I really wonder how powerful Sword Master Bai Heng's actual cultivation is. Xing Yao looked at the dazzling brilliance that erupted when Sword Master Bai Heng's incarnation dissipated, and praised sincerely. Sword Master Bai Heng is one of the most famous experts of Heaven Wasteland domain. His cultivation base has long reached the peak of perfection. It is said that he seems to have broken the shackles of the Saint Realm and stepped into a level that ordinary people cannot imagine. If it were not for the Chaos Temple, we would never have the chance to see such a great figure. Feng Hui said beside Xing Hui. Ling Yu also fixed her eyes on Sword Master Bai Heng, her eyes flashing with a blazing light, as if she was hoping that one day she would also reach the same level as Sword Master Bai Heng. After a long while, she turned to the crowd and said, "Well, this time the transaction went smoothly. Since you have obtained what you want, you can return. I will directly cross the cloud-desolate mountain range to the islands outside the sea, and continue to track down the whereabouts of the traitor dragon Shadow. If it is on the way, I can give you a ride. I will go with you. I am not in the same direction as you, so I will not trouble you. It is rare to come to the cloud-desolate mountain range. I plan to gain experience in the cloud-desolate mountain range, and at the same time comprehend the cultivation method of the White Tiger Sacred Body." Everyone made their choice and gradually dispersed. Xing Hui had newly obtained the Blazing Sun Sutra, 13 Heaven-Burning Swords, and Sword of the Sun Glory. He needed to spend time to comprehend them. Although there were many fierce beasts and spiritual beasts in the cloud-desolate mountain range, but as long as he did not go too deep, it was still safe. He chose to stay in the cloud-desolate mountain range. During this period, Feng Hui, Yun Kong, and Bai Hai discussed with Xing Hui to comprehend the Blazing Sun Sutra together. When they had time, they would exchange their cultivation experiences in the Chaos Shrine. After leaving the big crack, Xing Hui stepped on his flying sword and flew across the sky, leaving the core of the cloud-desolate mountain range. When he arrived at the area where the ranked spiritual beasts and ordinary fierce beasts were active, he consciously looked for a cave that could allow people to live in. Half a day later, a cave that met his criteria appeared in front of him. After entering the cave, Xing Hui rested for a while and set up many warning devices outside the cave. After that, he recalled Sword Master Bai Heng's inheritance of the Blazing Sun Sutra, and carefully comprehended it. The Torch Dragon was the great Sun True God. According to Bai Heng's subjective thought, the Torch Dragon's form was a divine dragon that burned with raging flames, and there seemed to be a bright sun behind it. As Xing Hui began to condense the Torch Dragon's shadow, a blazing sun slowly rose in his spiritual world again. In less than a moment, two suns were shining together. The newly derived Torch Dragon's sun could not be compared to the great sun's shadow with the Golden Crow as the foundation for the time being. However, under the image of the great sun Golden Crow, it was rapidly growing. Even Xing Hui's body was slowly strengthening. 3 months passed quickly. Relying on the foundation of Sword Master Bai Heng's divine sense inheritance, Xing Hui had completely comprehended the Blazing Sun Sutra, but he was still a step away from truly molding the Torch Dragon's divine soul. Molding the divine soul itself is a process of materializing essence, energy, and spirit. Although I saw the Torch Dragon's shadow in Sword Master Bai Heng's inheritance, I didn't really see it. As a result, the Torch Dragon's divine soul that was molded was like a pavilion in the sky, a dream. Seeing, the difficulty was too high. There were a total of 18 divine beasts in the world. However, there were only 10 types that could be confirmed and seen by people. Therefore, there was also a saying in the outside world that there were 10 divine beasts. The Torch Dragon was one of the 8 divine beasts that people could not really confirm. It was because of this that people guessed that the Torch Dragon was either the Great Sun True God, the Time Dragon, or the Genesis Primordial Spirit. It was day when one opened their eyes, and night when one closed their eyes. What kind of vast power was this? It's unrealistic to witness the real Torch Dragon. In that case, I can only work on the Torch Dragon that Bai Heng's subjective imagination. As Xing Hui thought about it, his heart suddenly moved. Torch Dragon. If it was just a simple image, he might have seen it before. It was not the eastern wilderness, but the world of Earth. He had once seen an epic work in Huaxia that explained the great calamity of the world in ancient times. In that great calamity, the torch dragon appeared for a moment and controlled the order of time. It transformed into the time dragon and shuttled between the 4 seasons of day, night, winter, and summer. Although the torch dragon that he saw in that epic work was also a shadow, it was much clearer than the image of the torch dragon in Sword Master Bai Heng's consciousness inheritance. What was someone else's was ultimately someone else's. It could never be compared to his own experience. With that thought, the torch dragon's soul that Xing Hui had created in his mental world immediately changed. It was vivid, ethereal, and carried an ancient and mysterious aura. A few days later, when the image of the torch dragon that Xing Hui had obtained from that epic work and the torch dragon's shadow that he had inherited from Sword Master Bai Heng's consciousness completely merged, a vast and imposing figure was immediately derived from his mental world. Then, it burst out with a brilliant light and turned into a new sun. Awakening. The sunlight was brilliant and constantly washed over his body, causing his body that was originally at level 22 of all attributes to be strengthened again. Unlike the brilliant light that was released from the Golden Crow's great sun that was extremely domineering and focused on burning the target, the brilliant light released from the torch dragon's great sun seemed to carry a more mysterious charm in addition to being blazing and violent, a kind of unit. Or rather, scale. The scale of time. Just like how the ancient people judged the day and night to be a day based on the light emitted by the sun, the torch dragon's great sun was also covered in a layer of mystery. However, this mysterious color was hidden and not obvious at the moment, and no one knew about it yet. Chapter 72. The illuminating sun scripture had been successfully cultivated. Qing Su moved his body slightly, and scorching power surged out from his body endlessly. It surged through his body at a speed that surpassed the limits of the human body. Xing Hui didn't need the help of the Chaos Temple to know that all his attributes would increase again. 25 levels. All his attributes increased by 3 levels. Although it wasn't as exaggerated as the Great Sun Golden Crow, one was an increase of 10 levels above the foundation of the Awakening Realm, while the other was an increase of 3 levels above the foundation of the True Energy Realm. The effects of the two were incomparable. Sensing the tremendous power in his body, Qing Su leapt up and left the cave in a single instance. He rushed through the forest rapidly. He was so fast that he seemed like a white steed that flashed through a gap. As long as the trees along the way were not towering, he didn't avoid them and directly crashed into them. Bang! 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 Along with the wood chips flying, many trees, including those that required 2 people to wrap their arms around, were broken by his body and collapsed one after another, startling countless birds in the forest. After a while, Xing Hui returned to the outside of the cave. 25 levels of defense has made my body's strength and toughness beyond the limits of the human body. If I go to Earth and fight in Mount Dongyang with this body, I can face hundreds of firearms with ease. The bullets of ordinary firearms can't penetrate my skin at all. Even sniper rifles and heavy firearms can only cause superficial injuries. It's not worth mentioning. Xing Hui clenched his hand. There seemed to be a wave of air in his palm. It formed a small whirlwind on the ground and rolled up the fallen leaves. When the wave of air was completely grasped in his palm, Xing Hui suddenly threw it, bang. The trees in front of him shook violently. Countless twigs and leaves burst out and exploded in the void. Using qi to hurt people, this was a technique that was close to the void refinement realm. However, Xing Hui could do this because the qi and blood in his body were too strong, so it was similar to releasing true qi and using qi to hurt people. In fact, he was still a little bit away from the realm of true qi. True qi, refining the void to return to reality, one must fully comprehend the transformation of true qi between the void and the real. Xing Hui's right hand kept rolling forward and backward. Under the control of his qi and blood, streams of air kept entrenching in his hand. Not long after, they had turned into visible streams of air that rolled up layers of ripples, which were no different from genuine qi. His level 4 comprehension allowed him to fully comprehend the various profundities of the void refinement and Ata during the time he spent cultivating the Illuminating Sun Sutra. Jinqi is the power of qi and blood compressed to the extreme. Qi and blood are illusory, while jinqi is real. Only by gathering the essence of qi and blood and refining it into reality can one call it jinqi. The stronger one's qi and blood, the stronger one's jinqi. Xing Hui felt that his physique had yet to reach the true limit. In order to prevent his divine beast talent from turning into a sacred beast, he did not refine his void and return to reality. He did not cultivate his true qi and step into the second layer of immortality. Now that he had a better understanding of his own cultivation, he returned to the cave and visualized 2 suns in his mind. The blazing sun shone on his body, stimulating his potential at every moment and pushing his body toward the limit of the awakening realm. Another 3 months passed. By the time Xing Hui pushed all his attributes to level 26 with difficulty, the speed at which the 2 suns shone on his body had become extremely slow. Although it had yet to reach the limit, according to the speed, it would take at least 3 to 5 years for his attributes to climb another level. It might even take 8 to 10 years. Unless he could consume the Golden Crow's blood essence or the Torch Dragon's blood essence. However, the Torch Dragon had always been mysterious and there was no trace of it for 10,000 years. On the other hand, the great sun Golden Crow lived in the blazing sun and rarely went out. It could not be captured unless one had great divine power. A drop of the Golden Crow's blood essence was worth dozens of Dao runes. It was often priceless. Xing Hui could not do anything. In the end, he shifted his gaze to the Chaos Temple. Xing Hui. Chaos level, level 15. Attack level, 26, defense level, 26, speed level, 26, spirit level, 45. In half a year, his chaos level had increased by 3 levels and reached level 15. His spirit level had also increased by 2 levels due to the continuous comprehension of the sword intent left in Sword Master by Heng's consciousness. Xing Hui looked at it for a moment and his gaze landed on the chaos level 15. A new skill was born at the chaos level 15, the divine protection technique. However, when it came to alchemy and weapon refinement, success was a matter of probability. Even if the probability was only 1 in 10,000. Simply put, if he wanted to refine a level 6 divine weapon, he only needed to obtain the materials for a level 6 divine weapon and obtain the formula to start refining. Then, the divine protection technique would be able to complete the refinement. This skill was even more powerful than the advanced technique he had obtained when he was at the Chaos level 5. Xing Hui glanced at the green firmament sword in his hand. As his strength continued to increase, the green firmament sword could not keep up. Forget it. Although I have some minerals collected from the 10,000 Swords Mountain and young Master Longquan's residence, these materials can only be used to refine a level 3 divine weapon. It's useless to use them. It won't be too late to add the divine protection technique when I gather more precious materials. After making up his mind, Xing Hui glanced at the divine technique. Buzz. Buzz. With a slight change, the divine technique was upgraded to level 2. However, when Xing Hui saw the description of the level 2 divine technique, he frowned. The level 2 divine technique did not raise one's cultivation level by 2 as he had imagined. Instead, the interval between uses was reduced from 30 days a month to 15 days in half a month. He rubbed his glabella. He had to admit that being unable to see the effects of the next level in the Sun of Chaos interface was indeed a headache. If he had known that the level 2 divine technique would only reduce the interval from 30 days to 15 days, he would not have wasted a chaos level on the divine technique. After glancing at the remaining 2 chaos levels, Xing Hui placed one of them on recovery, raising it from level 2 to level 3. Level 3 recovery clearly increased the energy activity in his body more significantly. As for the last chaos level, Xing Hui used it on his sword Dao talent. During this period of time, Xing Hui had comprehended the sword of the glorious sun, but he could not find a way. It was like looking at flowers in a fog. He could only hope to raise his sword Dao talent to level 3 and see if he could fully comprehend the sword of the glorious sun as his final trump card. Level 4 comprehension, level 3 recovery, level 3 sword Dao talent, level 2 divine technique, level 1 appraisal, level 1 personal space, and level 1 advance. Xing Hui glanced at them one by one. When his gaze fell on the divine technique, he clearly paused for a moment. I can't make the same mistake. Now that he was in the Chaos Temple, he immediately exited his personal space, pinched a spell, and appeared in the personal space of the leader of Dawn, Ling Yu. Your Excellency Pak Hui. I haven't seen you for a while. In the living room of Ling Yu's personal space, Blazing Glory was talking to 3 people. When he saw Xing Hui, he smiled and greeted him. After a transaction, Xing Hui had gained the trust of the people of Dawn. Of course, this was not unrelated to the fact that he was only in the awakening realm and was almost no threat. Xing Hui nodded to Blazing Glory and asked, Is Heaven's Inquisition here? You're looking for Heaven's Inquisition of the Divine Mysteries Pavilion. Deacon Sung Song is trading information with him. You need to wait a moment. Do you want to buy information from him? I'm a little curious about the many abilities given by the Chaos Temple. I wonder what it'll be like if personal space and appraisal are upgraded to a higher level. Xing Hui said. His words made Blazing Glory's eyes flash with a hint of obscurity. Asking about this kind of thing, the chaos level had reached level 2. However, he didn't reveal anything on the surface. Instead, he smiled and said, That's nothing. The effects of these abilities were hidden very well before, but now, it's become common knowledge. Not to mention personal space, appraisal, and the information of various talents have been completely analyzed. Even the advanced spells, holy spells, divine protection, resurrection, incarnation, and teleportation have been exposed one by one. Teleportation. When Xing Hui heard these words, his heart suddenly skipped a beat. He could not wait to ask, teleportation, can it allow people to teleport through space? Yes. Blazing Glory said sincerely, a teleportation is a life. It relies on thoughts to activate it instantly, which is equivalent to teleporting with a time limit. The time limit was not the main point of Xing Hui's attention. The main point was, could he use break realm teleportation to send him to the place he wanted to go? For example, Earth. What medium is needed to use teleportation? Medium. Teleportation can only be used at level 30. If you think it needs a medium like incarnation, then you're wrong. Blazing Glory smiled and pointed to his brain. As long as it's a place you've been before, he can teleport you there immediately with just a thought. This result opened a new door for Xing Hui. If a level 30 teleportation could really teleport him to any place he had been before, perhaps he could return to Earth in advance without having to cultivate to the level of crushing vacuum or find ancient god Jun's cave abode. Wait a moment. Blazing Glory stood up and walked toward a bookshelf not far from the living room. Soon, he flipped through a book and handed it to Xing Hui. Here is a description of all the skills before level 32 Son of Chaos. As for what kind of abilities Sons of Chaos above level 32 possess, it hasn't been spread out. After all, there are too few Sons of Chaos above level 30. In the entire Tianhuang mainland, you can probably count them on one hand. Thank you. Xing Hui took the book and flipped through it impatiently. The first thing he looked at was teleportation. Teleportation, level 30 chaos ability, can teleport to any place within a world. Level 1 teleportation has a cooldown of 1 year. A world. Seeing this description, Xing Hui frowned. As he continued reading, he quickly understood the concept of a world. A world was a world of its own. It shouldn't be a problem, Xinghui gradually calmed down, feeling somewhat uncertain. Unfortunately, teleportation was too high-end, and the book didn't record information on level 2 teleportation. In the end, Xinghui looked away. Level 30 Son of Chaos was a long way off. At the speed of 1 Dao rhyme per day, he still needed 3.5 years. In these 3.5 years, he couldn't slack off on his cultivation either. With his current cultivation, it wouldn't be difficult for him to return to Earth and dominate the martial arts world. However, he would still inevitably be ruthlessly crushed in the face of the state-level war machine. Moreover, Jiang Ningxi's crimes were enough to sentence her to death. If the worst-case scenario really happened, the awakening realm was far from enough. Chapter 73. Divine Technique, Appraisal, Divine Protection, Evolution, Incarnation, Resurrection. Qing Su flipped through the characteristics of each level of the various abilities. For example, Divine Technique had a cooldown of 7 days at rank 3, 3 days at rank 4, and 1 day at rank 5. After reaching rank 6, one's strength could be increased by 2 realms, and the cooldown would be restored to 1 month. In addition, the book also revealed a new theory. When a Son of Chaos reached rank 20, he could freely choose between strengthening his skills and reducing their cooldowns. For example, for rank 6 Divine Technique, a cultivator could choose to reduce the cooldown to 12 hours, or choose to increase their strength by 2 realms by 1 month. Another example was Resurrection, which had a cooldown of 100 years. When he reached rank 6, he could choose to reduce the cooldown or revive more people. It seems that I have to do my best to keep a portion of my mind in the Chaos Temple in order to gather more information. Xinghui thought. Your Excellency Pak Hui. At this time, Blazing Glory asked, Leader Ling Yu told me to ask you if you intend to join the trade with the 6-winged Divine Phoenix. I made an additional trade with Sword Master Bai Heng, so I'm afraid I won't be able to make it in time. I saw it, so I wanted to ask you again. Since that's the case, I'll send a message to the leader and have her tell Fei Xue. Thank you for your trouble. Xinghui said. The Illuminating Sun Sutra was not particularly compatible with the Golden Crow bloodline, but it was at least better than the Phoenix bloodline cultivation method. Unless he had a cultivation method that was completely compatible with the Golden Crow bloodline, he did not intend to cultivate any other cultivation method. I haven't seen Your Excellency Pak Hui in this period of time. You aren't still cultivating in seclusion, are you? Xinghui slightly nodded. Many thanks for Your Excellency Blazing Glory's information. I will continue my cultivation. Please do. Blazing Glory gestured for him to leave. After Xinghui left the Chaos Temple, his eyes flashed with an obscure light. After leaving the Chaos Temple, Xinghui once again focused on the cultivation of the Illuminating Sun Sutra. The true qi cultivated from the Torch Sun Sutra is known as Crimson Yang True Qi. Naturally, it's of the Saint grade, and it's further divided into 4 grades: low grade, middle grade, high grade, and peerless. Apart from the peerless true qi, the other 3 grades can't perfectly unleash the power of the Torch Dragon bloodline. Even high-grade true qi can't be cultivated. If one can't cultivate the peerless true qi, they'll be crippled. Xinghui had the Golden Crow bloodline and the Candle Dragon bloodline, so he could cultivate middle-grade Jin qi even with his eyes closed. During this period of time, he had been practicing the body-tempering method of the Candle Dragon scripture to increase his qi and blood, so it was not difficult for him to cultivate high-grade Jin qi. The difficult part was that he could perfectly display the power of the Candle Dragon bloodline. What was the difference between a divine beast's bloodline power that couldn't be perfectly unleashed compared to a top-tier saint beast? In this realm, I can either use the body-tempering method of the Candle Sun Sutra to excavate my potential to the extreme, or consume the Torch Dragon Blood Essence or a large amount of Crimson Dragon Blood Essence. With his level 4 comprehension, Xing Hui quickly understood the situation he was currently facing. However, ordinary people might only be able to cultivate according to those two methods, but Xing Hui, he had mastered the method of self-liberation from another world to stimulate the body's potential. He could let himself reach new limits again and again. Level 3 recovery and level 45 spirit were already enough for him to undergo self-liberation for the 4th time. 10 days later, Xing Hui completed his 4th self-liberation. The self-release this time had turned the cave into a mess. Many places were even covered with dark red bloodstains. Those were the traces left behind when his body almost collapsed during self-liberation. Every time I release myself, I challenge the limits of my genetic chain. If I raise my recovery to the 4th tier, my body will be able to withstand the 5th round of self-release, but my consciousness won't be able to withstand the pain of breaking through the limits of every cell and every gene in my body during self-release. Xing Hui rubbed the space between his eyebrows. He could not help but shudder when he recalled the painful experience in the past 10 days. There was a limit to a person's endurance. Once this limit was exceeded, one's consciousness would collapse. Without consciousness to control it, one's strength would go berserk. Unless his recovery level was a few levels higher, otherwise, it would be a dead end. Either I increase my recovery to level 4 after half a year. No, level 4 is not enough, at least level 5. Or I obtain a stronger spirit. Otherwise, I won't be able to undergo self-liberation for the 5th time. Xing Hui glanced at the attributes in his chaos interface. Level 28. That was the increase brought about by self-liberation. Level 28 attributes. With such a strong physique, it'd be strange if I can't refine Qi refinement to absolute grade true Qi during Qi refinement and Anatta. Xing Hui smiled. What he needed to do next was to adjust his essence, Qi, and spirit to their peak and try to break through to immortality level 2 true energy. Just as Xing Hui was adjusting his condition, a soft noise woke him up. It was the security trap he had set outside the cave. The moment he was awakened by the security trap, the two people outside the cave also sensed something. Damn it! It's a trap. They must be inside. Go! With the sound of something breaking through the air, two figures rushed into the cave in an instant. Their bodies shone with stellar energy, fierce and fierce. They were both immortality level 3 true Qi cultivators. These two seem to be coming for me. An stellar energy realm? Are they with Primordial Heaven Sect's true disciple Baiyu? Xing Hui did not dare to be careless. Before the two could reach him, he unsheathed the green firmament sword. Just as the two rushed into the cave and had yet to adapt to the dim environment, the green firmament sword shone with a biting cold light and completely enveloped them. Stingy insects! Rumble! Thunder seemed to explode in the cave. A bright lightning with a deafening roar collided with the sword Qi of Xing Hui's green firmament sword. Upon contact, Xing Hui's green firmament sword Qi was completely shattered. Then, the fierce lightning Qi rolled onto the green firmament sword and entered Xing Hui's body, causing his right hand to tremble. This kind of Qi, holy grade. Holy grade Qi. A spirit-refining cultivator who awakened the bloodline of a sacred beast and cultivated holy grade Qi? Even Baiyu would not be able to command such a person. Xing Hui quickly retreated. He could rely on the green firmament sword to fight against an ordinary cultivator who had cultivated holy grade Qi, but against an expert who cultivated holy grade Qi. Kill! As Xing Hui retreated, the spirit-refining cultivator who had cultivated holy grade Qi chased after him. Although the quality of this spirit-refining cultivator's Qi had not reached holy grade, he had awakened a speed-type spirit beast. His movement was unbelievably fast, catching up to Xing Hui while he was retreating. A thunderous blow landed on Xing Hui's body. Even though he blocked it with his sword at the critical moment, the chi contained in the opponent's fist still passed through his sword and smashed into his body. His chest and ribs shattered. Like a cannonball, he was sent flying and crashed into the wall at the end of the cave. Chi. Spitting out blood, Xing Hui's chi plummeted. Don't kill him. We still have to ask him about the primal chaos technique. Of course. This is the key to becoming a son of primal chaos. How can I waste it? But for safety's sake, let's break this brat's limbs first. 2 black-clothed and masked figures appeared. Son of primal chaos. In this world, only Xian Long knew that he was a son of primal chaos. And with the primal chaos oath, Xian Long could not betray him. Then, Dawn. They were from Dawn. Qing Su quickly threw out an appraisal technique, which landed on the spirit-refining cultivator who had cultivated Saint-grade aura chi. Name, unknown. Primal chaos level, rank 8. Attack, 36. Defense, 35. Speed, 33. Spirit, 34. Primal chaos level, rank 8. Dawn was a small organization with a total of 34 members. Among them, only 6 were above rank 5. Ling Yu, Tsang Song, Xing Yao, Tian Wen, Long Ke, and Blazing Glory. Ling Yu, Xing Yao, and even Long Qiao were all experts at the realm of unity of God and Qi, so they could be eliminated. The only ones left were Tsang Song, Heaven's Inquisition, and Blazing Glory. Perhaps there were others like Qing Su who had concealed their true strength as Sons of Chaos, but there were still very few Sons of Chaos above the 5th rank. Tsang Song and Tian Wen had never interacted with him. The only one he had interacted with, Blazing Glory. Blazing Glory. Guessing in his heart, Xing Hui roared. The eyes of the masked man who had cultivated holy grade chi changed slightly. It was confirmed. Cripple him and slowly interrogate him. The other masked man called out. Like a cheetah, he lunged towards Qing Su with the shadow of death. Clang! Just as the masked man was about to tear apart Xing Hui's limbs, the green firmament sword in Xing Hui's hand emitted a dazzling sword ray. With unbelievable speed, it pierced towards the masked man. Be careful. Not good. The masked man thought that Xing Hui, who was only an awakening realm cultivator, was not worth mentioning. Who would have thought that he still had a hidden card? Facing Xing Hui's strength that was not inferior to a late-stage spirit-refining cultivator, he could not react at all. He could only watch as the green firmament sword pierced through his throat, bringing with it a cluster of dark red blood. Spirit-refining realm? Die! Chi! With a flick of his sword, the green firmament sword struck out horizontally and once again charged towards Yan Huang. The profundity of the first sword of the burning heaven 13 swords was displayed from the tip of his sword, evolving into a blazing cloud of fire that rolled towards Yan Huang. Heavenly fire burns the city. Rumble. Thunder roared. A terrifying, towering figure seemed to rise up from behind Yan Huang. With the crushing might of Mount Tai, the figure collided with Qing Su's city, incinerating heavenly flames viciously. A violent explosion and rumble immediately expanded through the cave. The cave shook, and countless stone fragments and dust rustled down, as if the entire cave was about to collapse. Kuei Nyo. Divine Technique. You, your Son of Chaos, has actually reached rank 10. You have cultivated a divine technique. The two clashed. Blazing Glory was actually forced back 3 steps by Xing Hui. His eyes were filled with fear. However, after the fear, there was even more greed. So what if you have a divine technique? The divine technique has a time limit. As long as I can survive this period of time, only death awaits you. Ha ha ha. A rank 10 Son of Chaos, if sold, would definitely fetch a sky-high price. Pak Hui, today you will be mine. Blazing Glory laughed in surprise. His figure retreated as if he was about to escape, waiting for the time limit of the divine technique to pass. Chapter 74. However, even though he retreated quickly, Xing Hui was even faster. Brilliant sword intent. The Qingxian sword shot out explosively from the space between the two of them. It turned into a jet black profound light and shot towards Yan Huang in an instant. Bang! Flames burst out. At the critical moment, a circle of talisman-like flowing light shot out from Yan Huang's body and actually froze the Qingxian sword in the air. One had to know that the strength of Xing Hui's sword intent was not inferior to that of a divine Qi unison expert. When the flying sword shot out, an ordinary Gang Qi realm talisman would not be able to block the Qingxian sword for even a moment. It was still frozen in the air, which showed the grade of Yan Huang's life-saving item. Flying sword. Yan Huang broke out in cold sweat. You actually have a flying sword. Good. I want this flying sword. Yan Huang's eyes shone brightly, and he actually erupted with an astonishing power to grab the Qingxian sword tightly in his hand. With the help of the level 4 divine weapon gloves on his hand, he completely ignored the sharpness of the Qingxian sword. His Gang Qi, which contained lightning, continuously erupted from his palm, shaking the spirituality of the Qingxian sword in an attempt to take the flying sword for himself. Boom! Sword intent erupted. Under the stimulation of the lightning power, the Qingxian sword seemed to explode into a blazing sun, emitting a blazing light. It actually managed to disperse the lightning power in Yan Huang's palm. At the same time, Xing Hui had already arrived. The Qingxiao sword stabbed out, and the blazing sword light was like a rainbow piercing through the sun. The divine technique was actually equivalent to a special technique that increased all attributes by 10 levels. However, this level 10 was not simply an increase in physical fitness by 10 levels. It could even create something out of nothing, allowing an awakening realm expert to produce true Qi in his body, allowing a true Qi realm expert to cultivate Qi into Gang Qi, and allowing a Qi unison realm expert to cultivate Qi into Gang Qi. It was precisely because of this that level 10 was the dividing line between low-level sons of chaos and high-level sons of chaos. Once he could break through to the 10th level, he could use the divine art to sense the mysteries of higher realms in advance. The Son of Chaos would definitely be able to achieve twice the results with half the effort in his cultivation and soar to the heavens. Just like now, Xing Hui's body was surging with boundless qi and blood. Under the mysterious effect, that boundless qi and blood had been completely condensed into Zhen qi, surging violently, causing Xing Hui's sword to be like a raging inferno. Before the sword arrived, the blazing heat wave contained in the sword edge had already burned and distorted the air in the cave. Holy true energy. No, this is divine grade true energy. Yan Huang, who was controlling the Qingxian sword with great difficulty, sensed the oppressive blazing power from the Qingxiao sword. His expression changed greatly and he could no longer bother with the Qingxian sword as he retreated once again. No matter what, he had to wait for the duration of the divine art to pass before he could make any plans. Otherwise, he, blazing glory, would most likely die here today. You think you can leave? Without Yan Huang's suppression, the Qingxian sword once again shot out, forming an ear-piercing screech in the air. Yan Huang clearly only had one protective talisman on him. This time, even though he had activated his astral qi to the limit and covered his entire body, the Qingxian sword's blade still slashed across his throat. Rip! This sword strike only left a small wound on Yan Huang's body, but Xing Hui's precise control of the flying sword still shocked him. Damn it, he has a flying sword in his hand. Once he leaves the cave, he will definitely fly away on his sword. How will I kill him then? I have to restrain this flying sword. Seeing the Qingxian sword turn around and attack again, a cold light shot out from Yan Huang's eyes. He suddenly turned around and roared as he clasped his hands together, fiercely clasping the Qingxiao sword in his hands. Shatter. Rumble. Thunder shook. Surging thunder energy erupted from Yan Huang's palm, completely enveloping the Qingxian sword. Accompanied by a soft cry, the spirituality and sword intent on the Qingxian sword were quickly obliterated. Swish! Xing Hui's sword body trembled as he became one with the sword. Like a meteor striking the moon, he pierced towards Yan Huang in an instant, attempting to interrupt the attack that was destroying the spirituality and sword intent of the Qingxian sword. Defend the lightning disc. Facing Xing Hui's sword that was filled with surging heat waves, Yan Huang did not dodge at all. The astral chi around his body surged, and he actually allowed Xing Hui's sword to pierce through his astral chi and stab into his body. However, before Xing Hui could unleash the greatest damage from this sword strike, a black armor suddenly appeared on Yan Huang's body. A profound light flowed on the armor, and it quickly moved towards the place where the Qingxiao sword had pierced, causing the Qingxiao sword to be unable to move an inch further. Armor fused with genuine qi. Tier 4 armor. Xing Hui's pupils shrank. Amongst the many graded equipment, divine weapons were the cheapest, while armor was one level higher than divine weapons in terms of value. For the same grade, armor was usually 3 times more valuable than divine weapons. In other words, if Yan Huang's armor was sold, it could be exchanged for 3 tier 4 divine weapons. The Defend the Lightning Disc is a defensive mystic art, and this mystic water armor is an upper grade tier 4 ultimate treasure. I used my Dao aura to exchange with a big shot for it. With the advantage of your tier 3 divine weapon, it will take you at least 3 breaths to break my mystic water armor and defend the mystic water armor. These 3 breaths are enough for me to severely damage the spirituality of your flying sword. Once you lose your flying sword, you have no way out. Once the time limit of the divine art is up, let's see how you will escape from my palm. Tier 4 upper armor. Xing Hui's sword body trembled as he withdrew the Qingxiao sword. Tier 4 upper armor. Even if this armor's attributes were not compatible with Yan Huang's, it could still increase Yan Huang's defense by 5 levels. Given the Qingxiao sword's grade, it would take Yan Huang 3 breaths to break this tier 4 armor even if he stood still. 3 breaths, the spirituality of the Qingxian sword would indeed be severely damaged. At that time, before the spirituality of the Qingxian sword recovered, he would not be able to use this flying sword again. 13 Swords of Burning Heaven. I have mastered the first sword, Heaven Fire Burning City, and the second sword, Blazing Fire Burning Field. The second sword, Blazing Fire Burning Field, belongs to the group attack sword technique. Its power might not be inferior to Heaven Fire Burning City. To break the mystic water armor with one sword and deal a fatal blow to Yan Huang, Sword of the Glorious Sun. Only the Sword of the Glorious Sun. With his sword Dao talent raised to tier 3, the Sword of the Glorious Sun that was like looking at flowers in the fog already had some ideas. But at this moment, Xing Hui could not care so much. This sword must succeed. If he succeeded, he would break the mystic water armor and seize his life. If he failed, the spirituality of the Qingxian sword would be severely damaged. Once the time limit of his divine art was up, only death would await him. Boom! The sun exploded. Sword of the Glorious Sun, a sword technique that simulated the explosion of the sun. When Xing Hui completely detonated the sun in his spiritual world, a blazing and violent energy surged out from his body, as if it was going to burst his entire body. Buzz! Buzz! Brilliant sword intent violently vibrated in the air. The burden of suppressing this violent energy had already reached the brink of collapse. Seeing that the sword intent was about to collapse, Xing Hui could not care less. He condensed the power of the sun to the extreme and poured it all into the Qingxian sword, turning it into a resplendent glorious sun, and stabbed out. In the air, it was as if a blazing sun had lit up. The entire cave was illuminated as if it was daytime by Xing Hui's sword. Some dry things spontaneously combusted without fire. Blazing waves of fire rolled and engulfed the entire cave. This is, Yan Huang, who was trying his best to erase the spirituality of the Qingxian sword, suddenly opened his eyes wide. Blazing sun. Blazing sun. Blazing sun. Holding the Tai sword, he walked toward Yan Huang. As for the green firmament sword, this level 3 divine weapon could not withstand the uncontrollable violent power of the sword of the glorious sun and directly exploded into pieces. No. Stop. Stop. Ah. Xing Hui came in front of Yan Huang and stabbed out 4 times without hesitation, cutting off Yan Huang's 4 limbs. Fresh blood once again dyed his entire body red. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.